they're talking about somebody's woman's appearance. Oh!
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, March 4th, 2021. This is your award-winning Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 1326.
This is No Agenda.
I'm free! Kind of. And broadcasting live from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas, capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where we're all waiting for Trump to be sworn in today, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Indeed. Happy Inauguration Day, John.
Yeah.
This has gone much further than I ever expected it to do. This March 4th thing, which is just even too nutty for me.
It's pretty funny.
Here's
it's the coverage.
I got two little quickies coverage wise.
I've got a couple after you're done.
These are just quickies from CNN talking to a QAnon panel and families who have members in the queue. And and here we go.
Does anybody understand what is supposed to be happening on March 4th?
So March 4th, they're thinking that Donald Trump is going to come back and he's going to be the president. Apparently, what they said is way back when, it was like 1871. Inauguration Day used to happen on March 4th. And then Donald Trump will be back and he'll be inaugurated as either the 19th president of the United States Republic or the first president of some new something.
But wait, there's more. There's more because, and by the way, producers of Gitmo Nation have emailed every single one of these stories to me, and I have investigated all of them. Charlotte,
is it true that one of your sisters does not today believe that Joe Biden is president?
Yes, she tells her daughter that she thinks that the White House is a set and that Biden isn't actually president.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. It is mind-boggling.
Well, the person that I started talking to anyways that had initially got me into QAnon, he was like, Joe Biden's not even real. Like, that's why he's wearing a mask all the time because the fake face that he's wearing, the mouth doesn't move correctly when he talks. Mm-hmm. So they really believe that Joe Biden is not even Joe Biden.
No, this is true. It's not the Joe Biden we know, for sure. And his mouth is definitely out of sync with his brain. No doubt there, but geez. The only thing I'm missing is the NESARA stuff. That's a big part of the sovereign citizen, NESARA. NESARA, the National Economic Security and Recovery Act. That is supposed to be used in combination with the the quantum financial system and off-world sites that will be linked through XRP, probably through the Ripple Corporation, and that will eventually bring us back to the gold standard. At that point, we resolve the Federal Reserve. Dissolve the Federal Reserve. That's the story.
That makes sense.
Here's
the long version. This is the Capitol attack imminent. This is from NPR. They're giving us the lowdown.
Okay, yowzers.
Officials are again beefing up security around the U.S. Capitol building amid concerns stemming from a QAnon conspiracy theory. NPR's Windsor Johnston reports tomorrow's date is significant to some right-wing conspiracy theorists because they believe that's the day former President Trump will return to power.
The U.S. Capitol Police have obtained intelligence pointing to a possible plot to breach the Capitol by an unidentified militia group on Thursday. In a statement, Capitol Police say based on the information, they've taken immediate steps to enhance security around the Capitol complex. The threat appears to stem from QAnon, the umbrella term for a set of disproven and discredited conspiracy theories, including the false belief that former President Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the true 19th president on March 4th.
This is kind of interesting because they keep doing this. They keep saying that QAnon stands for a set of conspiracy theories, but that's factually just not true, which I don't understand exactly why they've changed that. Listen again.
The threat appears to stem from QAnon, the umbrella term for a set of disproven and discredited conspiracy theories.
That's just not true.
umbrella term is.
Yeah, it's
you're right. I didn't notice that either.
I'm not sure why they're doing that, other than
I think I can kind of deconstruct why they might be doing it.
Well, it's 15 more seconds. We'll finish the clip, and then we'll do it.
Including the false belief that former President Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the true 19th president on March 4th.
Hold on, stop. Here's another one. Now you got me listening a little closer. It's not a false belief.
No, it's a very real belief.
It's a belief.
Yeah.
But why do they use false belief in this report?
Because these people must be deemed crazy, insane, and not fit for society. Don't you think?
Oh.
Well, there's a lot of this.
I don't even know if they do it over. I think they do it subconsciously, I believe.
Yes, but it's become one of those things just like baseless or without evidence.
Yeah, baseless. But this is a little different because this is like a violation of English grammar.
Oh, please. It's what was it? NPR, PBS, or was it?
NPR. This is the big boys.
What do you expect?
Including the false belief that former President Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the true 19th president on March 4th. A number of people believed to be QAnon followers have been charged for their alleged involvement in the attack on the Capitol building.
And then they say QAnon followers as if it's a thing or a person, not just an umbrella term. I don't know. It's weird.
Very poorly done.
I have some detail.
They don't know what they're talking about is the problem.
They don't, they're just taking whatever has been said before. That's just kind of how it goes in the newsrooms.
Is that the whole thing?
I have a 16-second clip that ties into that one about the enhanced security that they've gotten. Because if anything, they got what they wanted, which was a day off. So no one is working in the Capitol today because,
Oh, yeah. It's going to be raided by a bunch of... This is such nonsense. I was listening to all these...
It's propaganda.
It's ridiculous, though. It's like so stupid. Oh, these militias are going to storm the Capitol. Who are they?
Here is the measures they wanted, they got.
Also in Washington, a review of U.S. Capitol security reportedly calls for sweeping changes in the wake of the January 6th riot. Those changes include hiring 1,000 new officers and establishing a permanent fence around the Capitol. One estimate claims hiring those officers could cost $100 million.
Why not?
They just wanted to spend money. I have a clip from... Ingraham, this is from a few days before they came up with the bull crap about the invasion. Mm-hmm. But this was Frau Ingraham talking to...
Thank you. It's sticking. I like it.
I like it too. It's very good. Talking to Glenn Greenwald, who must feel really weird only being able to go on Fox.
Wow, no kidding. No kidding.
Net of surveillance without any clear indication as to why they want to surveil more people. They won't cite any evidence. They say, we have to go behind closed doors. That's what they said yesterday.
I think it's ultimately really a way of simultaneously raising fear levels, because when you put people in a state of fear, they acquiesce to authoritarian power. But also it's a signal. It's trying to make people feel threatened by them, saying, you better not challenge us in any way. We are essentially militarized. We've armed and militarized all of Washington. That's called the People's House. You're supposed to be able to come and go outside of the Capitol. And the fact that there was a riot on one day does not justify having the military take the nation's capital and essentially turn it into, as you say, what looks like the green zone in Baghdad at the height of the Iraq War. But that is a really good way to keep the population fearful of these threats, but also fearful of the government, which is a very poor state of affairs.
And over at MSNBC, they're not so much concerned about that increase in domestic spying, but that it's just pointed in the right direction.
During the Snowvid Armageddon here, I got to talking to my neighbor. Now, I always thought his wife or partner, she was a cop. Which she is, but she's had an interesting career. And the first thing I learned, he said, those the weird cars you see sometimes in front of her house. I'm like, yeah, is that like someone staying with you? He says, no, that's her undercover car. So whenever you see one of those, that's just a piece of crap they get from a local dealer to go undercover. But what I learned is that she was a Capitol Police officer for many, many years in D.C., and she did the inauguration this year. And I said, well, what can you tell me? And he said, I can tell you this. The Capitol Police are trained to shoot and to kill on sight without hesitation at a moment's notice, and they've done it several times before in history. Says that should tell you enough. Now, what that means exactly, I don't know, but there was for sure either there was no threat or it was some stand down or whatever it was. They were not going to kill these people because they posed no threat. Boots on the ground.
Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. I think I forgot.
But that one woman did get shot in the face.
Yeah, in the neck. Yeah, of course. I mean, but in general, nothing happened. And now we know actually nothing did happen. Cop wasn't killed by a protester. There were no firearms inside the Capitol. There were weapons, if you count flagpoles and maybe that one crazy woman with a pitchfork. Not a very effective weapon, possibly.
Yeah, it's dumb.
But all of this came amongst hearings in Congress about what happened on January 6th. And it's mostly boring. And this one I picked up just short, but I thought it was relevant. FBI Director Wray countering the narrative that this could have been an Antifa false flag.
FBI Director Christopher Wray says the attack on the U.S. Capitol in January was an act of domestic terrorism. In his first appearance before Congress since the attack, Wray said the FBI is focusing on the growing threat of homegrown extremists, and he denied claims that the Antifa movement was behind the attack.
We have not to date seen any evidence of anarchist violent extremists or people subscribing to Antifa in connection with the 6th. That doesn't mean we're not looking, and we'll continue to look. But
I thought Antifa wasn't real. I thought it didn't exist.
No, that's just one of the congressmen who said that.
It's pretty prevalent.
At the moment, we have not seen that. A large and growing number of the people that we have arrested so far in connection with the 6th are what we would call militia violent extremism.
New term. Militia violent extremists. And this has to be code for something. And I think it's they're trying to connect it to the Second Amendment, a well-armed militia. That's because it was domestic violent extremists, and now they changed it to militia. And everybody was out talking about this horrible event, and as the hearings were going on, and obviously John Brennan is safe to step out again and talk to his woman there, Nicole Wallace on MSNBC.
That's why we started with Katie Benner's great new reporting about the investigation into police officer. It renders, at best hypocritical, at worst cynical and false, any notion that the Republicans care about the lives and the safety of law enforcement.
Well, I must say, to Claire's point, I'm increasingly embarrassed to be a white male these days.
Hey, there we go.
Light of what I see of my other white males saying. But it just shows that with very few exceptions, like Mitt Romney, Liz Cheney, Adam Kinzinger, there are so few Republicans in Congress who value truth, honesty, and integrity. And so they'll continue to gaslight the country the way that Donald Trump did. And the fact that this has such security and safety implications for the American public and for the members of Congress, again, as Claire said, it is just a disgusting display of craven politics that really should have no place in the United States in 2021.
I wonder if the next step going from domestic violent extremists to militia violent extremists, maybe it's just male violent extremists. Why don't we just do that right away?
White male.
Get it right. White male violent extremists. Wumvi. I'm a Wumvi. Right down.
No, you got to get I think your original thinking about the militia is good. Here, play the National Guard. This is the National Guard guy. This was, when I saw this, I saw the testimony, but this is an NPR version of it, so they actually tried to jack it up a little bit.
To respond to a friend.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
to respond to a frantic call for help from the Capitol Police during the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol. Meanwhile, those guard troops were sitting just minutes away from the building under siege. A joint Senate panel heard testimony today from military and national security officials.
Yeah, John, did you see the joint panel testimony today? Did you see the testimony? I can't stand it. I can't
about this
stand
horrible
it.
woman.
Try to understand why it took so long for help to arrive. NPR congressional correspondent Susan Davis covered the hearing. She's here now. Hi, Sue.
Hey
there. Key testimony today from William Walker. He is the commanding general of the D.C. National Guard, and he was talking about some of the reasons behind the delay. What explanation did he give?
Well, Walker testified that he was given orders from the Pentagon the day before January 6th, that he would have to seek approval up the chain of command for any and all decisions on moving guard troops. He said that included even moving troops between things like traffic stops. Senators were surprised to hear this, including Ohio Republican Rob Portman, who had this exchange with Walker.
Did you find that unusual?
19 years, I never had that before happen.
Walker said that order meant that when the then Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund called him asking for military support when the building was being breached by pro-Trump rioters, Walker could not dispatch what's known as a quick response force that was at the ready just down the street at the D.C. Armory. He had to get on a conference call with senior Pentagon officials and wait for approval, which he said did not come down to him until more than 3 hours later after he had made the request.
I can't get that number out of my head. 3 hours, more than 3 hours. Is there any explanation as to why the Pentagon put those restrictions on Walker?
What kind of a journalist would say, I just can't get...
Well, Walker did corroborate testimony that Sund gave last week that on that conference call, top Army officials raised concerns about the optics of sending troops to the Capitol. Walker said that he was, quote, stunned by those comments. As for the restrictions that had been put on him, a Pentagon official who testified, Robert Salisis, said that there was concerns at the Pentagon about deploying troops after the pushback they received from the use of the Guard during the spring and summer racial justice protests, and they wanted more discretion over that call.
Okay, so what did we learn?
I found this to be peculiar. This happens the day before the breach. Exactly the day before the breach, they changed the procedures completely,
yeah, of course.
100%.
Of course.
This was a setup.
Yeah. Welcome to QAnon.
The idea was to let this play out as much as they could. They knew it wasn't really dangerous. As you mentioned, the cops would have just shot everybody. The Capitol Police themselves, as you mentioned, with that new piece of information. So this whole thing was just a scam. It was a setup to let this kind of happen the way it did. The guys did stay between the lines, between the
ropes, the velvet ropes.
Cords, between the ropes.
Yeah.
And it was a setup. The whole thing was a massive scam. Trump was a sucker. The whole thing was it was a setup to get the re-impeachment going, to create the situation. Now they're milking it with the guards out in front of the place are still there. And this phony baloney thing that's supposed to happen today. Does anybody in their right mind who follows the news actually think that some crazy militia is going to come in and storm the Capitol today because of intelligence sources? Oh, we've got intelligence. And they keep saying this. Intelligence reports. Bull crap.
Yeah. You are now officially QAnon.
What QAnon's the one that thinks that Trump's going to be, sworn in today.
Well, it's an umbrella, John. It's a big umbrella. You don't have to.
Okay, let's get back to that. Now you
don't have to believe everything under the umbrella.
How does this happen? This happens because you're in an editorial meeting and somebody says, "How can we best describe QAnon?" And nobody, because they don't even know what the hell it is. They don't follow it. They don't even know what Reddit is, let alone being able to spell it. Is that READ? So they have these meetings, a bunch of dimwits, and they say, what can we call it? And they say, well, I think we can do this. And they kind of come up with this idea that it's an umbrella.
Yeah. Well, it's great because when you have the umbrella, then you can put everyone under it. So what you just said puts you under the umbrella. And so there's your answer. It's to make it bigger, not just people who followed QAnon on 4chan, then 8chan, and then Googly Chan. Not that. No. It's all this baseless, without evidence, wrong belief. Yeah. And this, thank you. You just put us in crosshairs by saying this was a scam. That is not acceptable, that answer.
I know, because it's the only real answer.
That's how it goes.
No other reason. I mean, it's just a scam. It's a massive scam.
It is.
And I want to see, where are these militias? Who are these people? They got all this intelligence that this horrible thing's going to happen because they're so damn good at this. So they're spying on the public 24/7, and they've got all this good information. It's nonsense.
Yeah, it's correct. So,
but I think your thought about using the word militia in there to kind of well-armed militia is the exact phrase.
Yeah, when you have, if you have a firearm in the house, you are suspect, especially if you're male and white. I mean, it's laid out right in front of us. There's no doubt that this is taking place. And if you're a podcaster, off to the gulag for you.
I think they still don't even know that podcasting exists.
No, they know. They know. They're not very good at it, but they know. Now, I need to just briefly say that we have been freed here in Texas, freed from the Fauci flu. We are free.
I have more clips about this than anything.
Let me give you the quick openers.
This morning, a surprising rollback.
It is now time to open Texas 100%.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott making the announcement, ending the statewide mask mandate and declaring Texas businesses can fully reopen next week.
And everyone celebrated with us here in Texas, including Joy Reid from MSNBC. What did she say?
You get some COVID, and you get some COVID, and you get some COVID, and you get some COVID.
Thanks, Joy. We feel good about that. Let's bring in some more tards. How about Beto?
El Paso, my home county, where I am right now, there are 280 bodies stacked up in a warehouse because there are not enough grave diggers and not enough graves to be dug to put them in the ground. They had to set up 10 mobile morgues. And that's just in my city right now. It is 85% Mexican American. They just don't care. And that indifference is killing people in my community and throughout the state of Texas.
We're all racist here. We don't care about you. And the nurses are flipping out.
A Texas ICU nurse called Governor Greg Abbott's decision to remove the mask mandate, quote, nerve-wracking. Brittany Smart says healthcare workers have begun to see a light at the end of the tunnel amid ongoing vaccinations and also several weeks of COVID-19 cases declining. Smart says she's seen too many bodies stacked like firewood, adding, quote, y'all don't understand or just don't care. This isn't political. These are humans, and they are dying. Health experts have warned the country could see another surge in coronavirus cases in the coming weeks, fueled by highly contagious variants.
That's it, baby.
Tonight, Houston.
Hey, what was that report from? Where was that report from?
Hold on, I'll tell you. It was local CBS News.
Bodies stacked like firewood. Where's the photo?
Whoa. You mean the Beto one?
I'm sorry?
The Beto clip, you mean? Or the Texas nurse clip that you just heard? Which one?
The one I just heard.
Yeah, that's CBS. And Beto mentioned the bodies stacked like firewood. And
no, he just said they were. He didn't say firewood, I don't think.
Oh, stacked. They were, that was...
piling up.
MSNBC. Piling up, yeah. It's bullshit. It's totally not
stacked
true.
like firewood? I want to see the photo.
It's not true. It's not true.
Where's the photo?
It's not true.
They said it's true. It must be true. It's CBS, CIA broadcasting system. They have to. They tell the truth.
They don't care about that. They have a better message. CBS.
Tonight, Houston becoming the first U.S. city to see cases of all the reported variants.
All of them.
Those first found in California, New York, the UK, Brazil, and South Africa.
We got them all. We're collecting them all. We got all the variants, and we don't care. We're Texans. We're crazy.
Well, that's beside the whole thing. I have here's a long report this is from the South Dakota Public Broadcasting Operation, and I'm doing a lot of PBS today,
yes, that's good. It's mainstream.
And they went to the Austin NPR people and got a report, and this is good.
Hold on. The Austin NPR people who barely even broadcast during the worst crisis this year. They had Terry Gross Fresh Air running in the morning instead of giving us some information. That Austin NPR?
Exactly. This is COVID Texas long form.
Texas will soon be the largest state in the country without any COVID-19 restrictions on businesses. Governor Greg Abbott is ending his mask mandate and other measures. The move has drawn criticism from health officials and President Biden. And as Ashley Lopez of member station KUT in Austin reports, many frontline workers are nervous.
Emily Hoover says this decision is going to make running her business harder. Hoover is the owner of a women's store in Austin called Feathers Boutique Vintage. She started requiring masks in her store even before the state had its own order, which she says wasn't popular at first.
I had a really hard time as a business getting people to comply, and a lot of people calling me, messaging me, telling me that I needed to get rid of it or that they wouldn't shop with me as long as I had a mask mandate.
Last summer, she says, things got easier when Governor Greg Abbott issued a statewide order requiring people to wear masks in public spaces. But this week, Abbott announced he's rescinding the order effective next week.
People and businesses don't need the state telling them how to operate.
Abbott says businesses can still decide on their own if they want to limit capacity or require masks. Angelina Alanis has waitressed at a local Mexican restaurant that's had indoor dining for a while now. She says even with a limited capacity, it has felt pretty unsafe.
It's already pretty crowded in there to the point where people feel like uncomfortable walking up to the to-go window to get their to-goes because there'll be like a crowd of people not wearing masks around the door waiting to get sat. So just going back up to 100% seems kind of overwhelming.
But Alanis says if the restaurant she works at decides to open up capacity, she and her coworkers will probably just have to risk it.
It's kind of like, what choice do we have? Like, if our restaurant is open and sitting, like, that's our job. So we have to be willing to wait on people that are inside and sitting down.
Even restaurant owners feel like they're being put in a bind and left to fend for themselves. Michael Fodager is the owner of Olame, an upscale southern restaurant in Austin. He says state officials are lifting restrictions without providing a path for workers to get vaccinated earlier.
We need help with messaging so that we can protect ourselves instead of fighting the general public and trying to convince them that our lives are valuable and that they should wear a mask to protect us.
All right. I need to give you some local color on what's really going on. Unless you have comments.
Yes, it'd be nice because I listened to that report and it sounded like everybody in Austin wants to be masked up and locked down and these restaurants don't want to be open and everybody's worried sick that everyone's infected.
Okay. So now first, this came out on Tuesday and Austin Twitter exploded there was a tard explosion fest. And, people wishing the governor to fall down the stairs with his wheelchair, death to you, you don't care about us, you're a murderer, Hitler, blah, 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 all of that. My friends who own the Spin Studio were very excited because not so much about anything other than the capacity because, they typically can pack 30, 35 riders into one class, and they've been restricted to 12. So now I know them very well, and I know that they are not going to say anything about this. They're just going to let people do what they want to do. They're not going to take a stand because they don't feel they need to take a stand on those things. Same with Black Lives Matter. But here's what I saw yesterday, when I went to my ride class. Everyone was wearing a mask. The studio, even though it's not going into March 10th, the lifting of all restrictions was full. So they packed it. So all of these total nut job, social justice warrior, underinformed, over-socialized, mainly women, that's who I see most in the ride class, were all wearing their masks right up to the bike, take it off, do the ride, get it right back on, and then they go and sit shoulder to shoulder and taking selfies. The social distancing has been completely forgotten. Same with the supermarkets. Now it has only come down to the mask, which tells me this is not reality. It is not, they are not afraid of anything really happening. This is purely psychosis. And part of that underinformed and over-socialized is that most of these younger children, they're Zoomers, so they're not the millennials, mainly the Zoomers who are so aggressively angry and yelling about it, don't really understand, have not been educated in the United States and what we stand for. Because the governor did not say, go ahead, wear your mask, kill everybody. No, the order was, I'm lifting everything. Texans are responsible enough to determine their own risk, both if they are a citizen going into business and a business if they want to let citizens in. They can do whatever they want. So nothing really factually has to change. And I don't think it will. I think the mask will stay on as a virtue signal. Right now, there's lists being created of, here's all the businesses that will follow the rules and Fauci! And soon we'll have a list of all the businesses that say, it's like, do whatever you want to do. It's okay. You want to wear a mask, you wear a mask. The only problem that was so beautifully slipped into this mask business was the idea that you have to wear it because you might get somebody else sick with your evil germs. So
that was the point made at the end of that last clip.
Yeah, and that is really, we've never heard that before, except during COVID, all of a sudden that was important. And if the mask, from a logical standpoint, the mask is for when you may not be able to socially distance. So
that was the original intent.
Yeah. So, and because, the 6 feet, although obviously intended to remind you of 6 feet under, the 6 feet distance was the safe distance for which you're spewing the COVID germs in people's faces would probably not make it. So if they're so concerned about masks, why don't you just stay 6 feet away from me? So that is going to be the argument. Sir Gene, God bless his heart, he went straight to HEB yesterday and went in without a mask. And no one stopped him. Of course, it's Gene. So
he's a big boy.
Yeah, you don't want to feel like, I don't think we're going to mess with that guy. We won't do that. So it's complete virtue signaling on everybody's part. And those that are really, really serious, and they believe that this is down to just a mask, you should close your business. You really should. You have no idea what you're talking about. And these variants escape the mask. This has also been told over and over.
So promoting the variants, which has been debunked, at least on this show, by people who have looked at the research, which has got nothing to do with the real world stuff. It's just the lab research. Mm-hmm. And to be bringing it up as though you want this to continue, you like looking forward to it. What's wrong with you?
There's a lot wrong here. There's a lot wrong.
I have one more mask report again from NPR.
But again, it's masks, right? It's not about. No one says washing your hands or social distance.
This is why I think it's funny that when Biden says it's not a political thing, yes, it is.
Yeah, it is. It's totally political.
This is an official NPR report from. It says Covis, Texas mask report.
Even as President Biden was excoriating Texas Governor Greg Abbott over a decision to lift mask mandates, the state's Republican Senator John Cornyn was rushing to his defense. Cornyn accusing the Biden administration of fear-mongering, saying battling the coronavirus involves more than wearing masks.
This is not just a one-dimensional problem. We need to look at the whole thing. And I think Governor Abbott in the state of Texas, I'm proud of the work we've done.
But other elected officials, including San Antonio Mayor Ron Nirenberg, disagree with the decision. Nirenberg telling NPR's All Things Considered today, easing virus restrictions right now is a bad idea.
Lifting the mask mandate at this time is a dreadful and unnecessary decision that unfortunately will cost lives in our state.
Already more than 44,000 people have died in Texas from COVID-19, behind only California and New York.
Again, this is completely unscientific. The masks are for when you can't socially distance, and they're not talking about it, so it's totally political. It's crap. And again,
they've dropped that whole idea. And I remember from the very beginning, the reason for the mask was because you're going to be bumping elbows.
Yeah. And the whole idea, and this is what's so not distressing, but it's disappointing to me, is that everyone takes this in a political manner. I mean, it's literally, Republicans want to kill us. You hear it everywhere. But it is a bait. The whole point is we don't need to force you, Texas. You'll figure it out because that's actually how it's supposed to work according to our democracy.
South Dakota is never brought up in any of these conversations, and they have had this attitude since the get-go, since the very beginning, as Kristi Noem pointed out.
Well, it's
never discussed.
They are going after Noem hardcore.
Well, they're not going to get very far.
If you want, I have a number of clips.
I'd love to hear a clip of the anti-Noem stuff. I like to see what direction they're going to try to take because she looks pretty tough.
This is our clip custodian watched the whole Face the Nation interview with, which is about this topic, and they had Fauci on, they had Noem herself on. So here is kind of a setup, which takes us back to the CPAC convention, and they bring in Fauci after, we know Governor Noem said Fauci is wrong a lot.
I'm going to ask you, Dr. Fauci, about something one of our upcoming guests said. Governor Kristi Noem of South Dakota delivered a speech to a conservative conference yesterday, and she touted her decisions. She got a standing ovation when she said she ignored the medical advice of experts and specifically you.
We never focused on the case numbers. Instead, we kept our eye on hospital capacity. Now, Dr. Fauci, he told me that on my worst day, I'd have 10,000 patients in the hospital. On our worst day, we had a little over 600. Now, I don't know if you agree with me, but Dr. Fauci is wrong a lot.
How much of an impediment is sentiment like that to the nation's recovery?
Instead of saying, is that true, were your numbers wrong? Instead of saying that, she goes for the, doesn't that fuck it all up?
It's unfortunate,
she is.
That's journalism, baby.
She is a terrible, terrible journalist.
No, CBS is a terrible network. All mainstream media is terrible. End of.
It's unfortunate, but it is not really helpful because sometimes you think things are going well and just take a look at the numbers. They don't lie.
Yeah, well, this is what I like. And she should come in and say, but she claims a different number than you, Dr. Fauci.
We see, Margaret, what happens when you pull back prematurely. Now, you're going to have individual instances of situations where people may not have and didn't see a rebound right away. But you really got to be careful, particularly now that we have variants in this country that seem to spread more efficiently and maybe even are more dangerous with regard to pathogenicity. So I'm sure that, you can get a standing ovation by saying I'm wrong.
Yeah. The big wheeze for Fauci did not answer the question. It fuddled the numbers right there, like fucking propaganda. It's unbelievable. But it wasn't over.
And more importantly to me is the fact that Margaret Brennan didn't ask him, what about those numbers that she cited? She puts the numbers, she puts the Kristi Noem on to kind of ridicule her. And then lets Fauci go off on his merry way. She does nothing. She's a terrible, terrible journalist.
Well, in fact, she tried to rip Noem a new one herself.
So for your state, you have, if you look at starting in July, which was after that spring peak, you have the highest death rate in cumulative COVID deaths per million in the country. The CDC says you have the 8th highest death rate per capita now. I'm not talking about infection rates. I know you're a conservative and you care about the sanctity of life. So how can you justify
bringing in the no abortion thing, sanctity of life? Good one, Margaret. You got her. You zipped her on that one.
Making decisions that put the health of your constituents at risk?
You don't want to kill people.
And those are questions that you should be asking every other governor in this country as well.
I'm asking you today, Madam.
South Dakota's in.
Madam.
Now she's tough. Now she's tough.
I'm asking you, Madam. When she pulled the Madam card. Woo! That's something chicks don't like.
And those are questions that you should be asking every other governor in this country as well.
I'm asking you today, Madam.
South Dakota's in.
You're facing the nation.
I'm answering you, Margaret. I'm answering you. Regionally, we have seen the virus hit the country very differently. And it hit the Midwest earlier than it did the South, and now the East Coast and the West Coast. So we are still dealing with this virus in this country. South Dakota went through our highest rate of infections and implications earlier. The rest of the country is dealing with it much higher numbers today. And that's really what this means. What we should be looking at is, did the mitigation measures help? Did mandating different actions in each of these states make a difference? Because what we're seeing is that the mandates aren't necessarily what's working. It's that people have the ability, the flexibility to not just look at this virus and how it hits their health, but also how does it impact their well-being, their economic well-being, their ability to keep their kids in school, their ability to keep their businesses open, pay their bills. That's been incredibly challenging.
Well, let's talk about that. So what do you think she brings up? What is she going to pin on Noam now? Everything has failed. She can't do the numbers. She called her madam, the M word. Oh, I know what we'll do. This was your fault too, Noam.
There's a $12 billion price tag that has been pegged to the impact of and fallout from that Sturgis motorcycle rally that you hosted in your state in August.
God.
It is blamed for seeding the entire Midwest outbreak that hit in that late summer through the fall. Do you take personal responsibility for that?
Well, that is completely false information. That is not true.
This is the San Diego State University study.
And it is not based on facts. We tracked people that came to the rally, had states report back to us cases that came from that rally. It was less than 100 cases that we could track to that, and we did testing in that community and throughout the area for weeks after.
So she tries that on her, and if you'd like to hear the final bit, we have to bring in someone who has some official capacity and speaks like they know what they're talking. So you bring in the shill. The shill would be Scott Gottlieb, former FDA commissioner, big pharma insider.
I want to ask you about Governor Noem, who spoke on this program saying she never focused, she told CPAC she never focused on case numbers. She focused on hospital capacity. And she rejected the premise that the motorcycle rally that she held in her state in August was responsible for seeding the Midwest.
Hold on, stop. She held the rally? Did she send out the flyers?
That's what she's saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. She held the rally. Yeah.
So there was a rally and she held it.
Notice this is not a rally. This is not a rally. What is she calling a rally?
Well, it's not a rally. I know it's more of a meetup.
Sturgis is an event of epic proportions. Rally.
It's a big meetup.
You're using rally as a political term. Again, it's so obvious. Rally, Trump rally.
Is loaded with kind of strange wording and interesting angles. She has been given the word to go. You're right. They've been given, and this CIA broadcasting system has been given the word. That's why Brennan's been cut loose. He'll be probably on one of these shows. I don't know. They don't want Noam. That's all I can say.
She's a danger because she kicked
ass. They're trying to cut her off at the knees here, but it's a little too early in the game.
By the way, Sturgis...
And she's more of a charmer than these people. Brennan, she's been...
Good luck with that.
She has been getting physically, and I hate to say this, but we can do stuff like this on the show. She has been getting physically ugly.
Huh.
I've been watching because I've watched her most of her career, and she is literally, her visage is very slowly changing because of whatever toxins that she's creating with this bad journalism and meanness. She's mean, madam, and all the rest. Very lopsided reporting. She is physically looking unattractive.
It happens when you are eating yourself up on the inside. I think that's no joy in her life, and she knows that there's a rotten business she's in. It's rotten to the core, and she
is really not looking good. Anyway, that's just something again that we'd be fired for on any other broadcast or anything for even mentioning. Oh, you're talking about somebody's woman's appearance. Oh.
The motorcycle rally that she held in her state in August was responsible for seeding the Midwest outbreak. What do you make of her defense?
Well, look, I think it is important to look at the vulnerable population.
Hold on a second. Her defense was, that's bullshit. That was her defense. She said,
"Yeah, her defense was just bullshit. The numbers
are wrong." Yeah,
and it was lies.
I like the 12 billion, by the way. That's a typical paper that you do at a university. Well, because of this bike rally, $12 billion in damage was done. Go, guy.
Well, look, I think it is important to look at the vulnerable population and hospital capacity and how many people are being hospitalized and dying from the infection as an important metric. But you also have to look at prevalence. Certainly back when we were having the first and the second and even the third wave of infection, prevalence was an important predictor of overall morbidity from the infection before we had a vaccine. If you look at post-July 1st, and the reason why I picked July 1st is because before July 1st, we really didn't know how to treat COVID. We were treating it literally with Pepcid and hydroxychloroquine. But after July 1st, we had the data from the UK study.
Oh, really? Oh, really? No, we weren't.
What?
How could you be literally treating it with hydroxychloroquine when it was verboten? Isn't that interesting, huh?
That's a real interesting flub.
Mm-hmm.
Because before July 1st, we really didn't know how to treat COVID. We were treating it literally with Pepcid and hydroxychloroquine. But after July 1st, we had the data from the UK study, the recovery trial, that told us that dexamethasone, the steroid, was very effective at cutting mortality. We started to use blood thinners on.
Also, that was also poo-pooed, dexamethasone, whatever it is, because that was part of the whole zinc package. You put a little steroid. That was also poo-pooed by the media.
It's very effective at cutting mortality. We started to use blood thinners on patients. We were intubating less aggressively. So practice of medicine dramatically improved after around that time period. If you look at post-July 1st, in terms of deaths per capita by state, South Dakota is the last. Arizona is second to last. Mississippi, Alabama, North Dakota, those are the states that come in last in the nation in terms of deaths per capita.
Oh.
So, I think that the states that didn't implement as stringent measures, they did pay a price for it, and I don't think that you can explain that away. I think it's just a fact. And,
what price?
They will argue that they maybe didn't take the same economic hit as states that imposed restrictions, but they did pay a price for it in terms of higher death rates.
What?
It's complete. He's saying the opposite of what he just said. They were the lowest.
Okay, let's summarize. He said that South Dakota was last in terms of deaths per capita.
Yes.
Does last mean they had more deaths per capita? That's the only possibility with what he said.
But then he said all the Mississippi, all these states, as far as I know, I never heard them being a problem. I know Texas was high, so you tell me South Dakota was higher than Texas? That's why we shut down.
Very confusing.
Now, I don't want everyone to get all excited about South Dakota. I have to remind you, South Dakota is also the state that brought us this public service announcement.
I'm on meth.
I'm on meth.
I'm on it too.
So am I.
So am I.
I'm on meth.
Meth is not someone else's problem. It's everyone in South Dakota's problem.
Yeah.
And we need everyone to get on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it.
I'm on it too.
The worst public service announcement in the state's history. I'm on it.
Well, I'm sure Kristi Noem produced that because she knows. After she organized the rally.
The rally. Yes, the rally. Now, so a lot of what is taking place is propaganda. I mean, pure propaganda. It really gets beautiful when it's obvious that it's propaganda. We have had another shutdown of Auckland in New Zealand for one person who had maybe an asymptomatic case, shut down Auckland for a week. But it's okay, because this is what you're supposed to do. This is how it works, and this is New Zealand Prime Minister. Here's Jacinda, who's going to tell you what they've been doing.
As we enter our second full day of alert level restrictions, we drum in that messaging around the dangers of COVID pretty diligently for a full 2-week period of sustained propaganda.
There you go. She's just saying it. Just saying it. Sustained propaganda. Can you interpret...
What was the context of that?
As we enter our second full day of alert level restrictions, we drum in that messaging around the dangers of COVID pretty diligently for a full 2-week period of sustained propaganda.
It's about telling the slaves that it's scary outside. Full propaganda. She used propaganda. I don't think you can interpret any differently. Is it maybe it's different in New Zealand? Because propaganda...
The word is in... You look it up in the Oxford English Dictionary and get the word.
Here I got information, especially of biased or misleading nature, used to promote or publicize a particular political cause or point of view. Is this a
misleading
flub?
Is the key word within that definition.
And is this a flub? Or is she serious? Does she think that...
She could just be an idiot.
Or is this war is peace, and now propaganda is good information? That could also be taking place. Let's turn the word propaganda into something positive here. There you go. That'll do it.
You got to spin it.
Mm-hmm.
So did you hear about the using the Chinese COVID vaccine?
I've heard something about it, but I don't know.
Here, I got a clip here that was sent in by Derby Dyke.
Yeah.
One of our, I don't know where he got this clip, but it was apparently overheard a conversation between somebody and a buddy, I guess.
Yeah. What is it called?
It's called Chinese COVID vaccine.
Oh, that would make sense.
Hey, bro. I also wanted to let you know that I was in New York this weekend for a wedding, and I got the vaccine, but it was the less researched Chinese one. But they said that so far they haven't seen any side effects. But if I see any side effects, then I'll definitely let you know. But as of right now, there's nothing that I can see that's a side effect for the vaccine. So if you would like to get one, I can make you an appointment. No problem. Hope everything is okay with you, and have a good day. Okay, bye.
Classic. A good one. Now, here is another bit of confusing information. Dr. Osterholm, Dr. Death, the guy who's been talking about it's a hurricane. It's a hurricane coming. It's only 6 weeks out. We're all going to die. It's going to be a spike. You have no idea what you're talking about. You are crazy. Now listen to him.
We're seeing almost no viral respiratory pathogens today in our pediatric population.
Wouldn't that pertain to mask wearing somehow? I'm just saying, if you have no viral pathogens, then don't you need, is mask a problem? I don't know.
If you go look at our hospitalization rates right now for kids, it is dramatically below what we've seen in recent years. If you look at influenza activity, same thing, way below what we would normally expect to see. Now, you can't say it's just because of mitigation, because frankly, we haven't done all that well with mitigation with COVID-19. Look at all the cases we've had. So if, in fact, it were just that, you would expect to see at least some activity with flu and with the other viral respiratory pathogens. So I think there's something going on here that Mother Nature is doing across a diverse area of the world that we just don't understand. And we have to acknowledge that.
Where is your science? Shut up now. That's your scientist? Mother Nature.
Wow.
Mother Nature. We've got to acknowledge Mother Nature is smarter than we are.
Why are these people even on the air?
Because he was good at the fear-mongering. Now, this is his podcast. He's not on the air. And he is in the team. He's in the Biden team. Everyone's going nuts. Truth coming out everywhere. Justin Trudeau, PM du Canada.
Science has also ensured that our children are inheriting a cleaner, healthier planet. Research is important. It improves our lives every day. And that's exactly why we must continue to support it.
Today, we're taking another historic step forward.
What?
Instead of historic, he says hysteric.
He said hysteric.
Another historic step forward. Today, we're taking another historic step forward.
Truth comes out, baby. The truth comes out. Well, I am very grateful, actually, for one thing about COVID. COVID finally, this last Sunday, put the dagger into the heart of Hollywood. The Golden Globes was the biggest train wreck of the century. And
that reminds me.
Beautiful. It was
terrible.
I turned it off. I'm an award show whore. I turned it off. The ratings, year over year. You want to take a guess?
I already know the numbers. I read the trades.
60% lower than last year. 1.2 rating in the demo of 1849.
1.2, that's cable. That's
MTV
cable
does
ratings.
better. MTV does better. That is unbelievable. Now, also, they did everything wrong. They, besides the technology, which is how in the world. Here's what it did to me. It showed the world that without the tight scripts, the cameras, the producers, whatever else you need to make Hollywood function, the actors are just numbnut dipshits. I mean, you had Catherine, what's her name, O'Hare, or whatever her name is, from Schitt's Creek, with her acceptance speech, and then whoever that idiot was next to him, her husband, I don't know, could have been Robert De Niro, I don't know who that was. He's playing something on his phone, he's doing stuff. Everything was wrong about it. And then the first two awards you give are to British guys most people can't even understand. Once his mic was working, you do me dirty, bruv, you do me dirty, bruv. You can't understand that in America. It was so stupid, and it showed. It's over. It's done. Toast. Stick a fork in it. This is the Wizard of Oz moment. This curtain has finally fallen. We see them for what they are. You laughing at that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've been making this all it needs to do is it can go from 0 to 100 just by bringing back in the production values and the hot shots and the guys who know what they're doing. This was a train wreck because it couldn't be anything other than a train wreck. This stupid idea to begin with, everything being done, it looked like it was worse than what you get on YouTube. It was a Zoom call TV show. Nobody's going to watch. It's got nothing to attract you. I found it odd that the two hosts immediately go after the organization that hired them. I had a clip.
Well, they had to do that because of the controversy, and it's the Hollywood Foreign Press. The Hollywood Foreign Press doesn't care. They do whatever you want to do. They got $60 million from NBC for this show. There could be a lot of make goods for the next few months. But okay, so we have a disagreement. I think that some magic has been damaged. I was that type of a celebrity at one point in my life, and there's certain things you do and you don't do, and when you don't do it, it can go downhill really quickly, and the media is very happy to get you. But the biggest problem is that the same group of people, Hollywood, are the ones that gave Governor Andrew Cuomo an Emmy Award. And,
well, there's your humor.
But here's what's interesting. He is responsible for the death of thousands of elderly in New York.
And so is that show.
Hollywood, and I'm putting cable news in Hollywood, they sucked up to him. They gave him the award. He was hanging out with his brother. And so then it comes out that he was a liar and a possible killer. And so what do they do? Like, oh, crap, we've been completely complicit in sucking up to this guy. We can't let anyone see that we didn't do any investigative work. Me Too moment. And now no one cares about the dead people. No. Me too. They really think American citizens are dumb. I don't think we are that dumb.
Not that dumb.
Not
We're
that
dumb.
Not that dumb.
I do have. I've got a couple other COVID things to get out of the way.
I have some. We also need to do vaccines because that's next. So we can't just pass it on by.
You start off with the COVID. My favorite thing is the COVID. I have a report from South Africa, which is one of the few African countries that actually has lots of cases.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of interesting because we always talk about how black folk in the United States, we're not taking. You had that great clip with Wendy Williams saying, "I'm not taking it."
Oh, my God.
The history. Well, what's the reason then for the South Africans, except maybe Bill Gates, not taking their vaccine? And the number of of South African blacks that won't take the vaccine is pretty high. Here, listen to this. COVID vaccine in South Africa. Wait, what do you think the number? Well, I'm not going to ask for you to guess, but here, play the report.
To heard some of the reasons people are giving for not wanting to be vaccinated in your report, but just how widespread is this skepticism in South Africa?
This is very wide, especially considering the researches or surveys that we have had. We have had two major surveys here in South Africa. In fact, there are three. There's one from the global IPSOS and another one from FinTech. It found that was in January. They found that about 50% of South Africans have said they will resist taking the vaccine. And our local university here, the University of Johannesburg, also did another study where they put that figure to 1/3. So that is quite a huge number. And obviously, this is not a small group of people at the corner there, but it's across Christian, across religions, across tradition. Quite a number of people in a lot of corners here saying they are not prepared to take the vaccine as yet.
You want to know why?
Bill Gates.
They're fucking smart. That's why. They're smart people. And interestingly, producer Toby did some analysis for us on the excess death numbers, because that is something that you really can't dispute. More people died than last year. I doubt they're faking deaths. What they died of is something else. So what we've been taught now for over a year is that COVID disproportionately strikes black and brown communities and communities of color. We can all recite it. Black and brown communities and communities of color. Disproportionately. This is a lie. And it shows from the UK excess deaths. So this is good because we don't have African Americans in the UK. We got lots of brown people, lots of very black people. There were 109, the excess death number, 109,000 in the UK year over year. Of the death numbers, 128,077 were COVID related. Okay. So, I'm sorry?
You said K.
And you pointed out on the last episode that even though this with COVID is very wishy-washy and who the hell knows if it was responsible or you just had it or you fell off your motorcycle and you had COVID, it's kind of irrelevant because the real question is, what is the average weighted age of all of the excess deaths?
I think we know the answer to that.
79.4. So it's
80.
So instead of the truth, which is older people are disproportionately affected by COVID, they're doing this racial thing, which is a lie. That's your number. 80-year-olds are dying. So UK, with your great social care system, not so great. It's all old people who died. You don't care about old people. And that is something they just don't want to admit. That the whole system for elderly care is rotten throughout the whole world, no doubt. Certainly for public elderly care.
I think you might be wrong.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You said they don't care. I think they do care. They want to kill the old people.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I'm sorry. But you have to not care about the old people to care to want to kill them. So it does cancel each other out. And you're right. It's fine. Now,
I think that the Democrats have been, is one way, even though the baby boomers aren't in that group, they're coming up on it, and it's getting fairly apparent to me that the Democrats, and I'm going to say that, would like to kill off the old people because it's a burden on society. And that's what I think Cuomo overtly did what he did. I know it doesn't make any,
No, it does. No, wait, let's go back because it does make sense because his largest lobby group is the Hasidic Jews who have large investments in the elderly care homes. And for him to send patients there was automatic money in the bank for them. It's just an accusation. I can't prove it. But that seems like a very good motivator especially if you're a bumbling idiot, you don't really know what's going on, or maybe he's just evil. But yeah, throw him in there. And if anyone benefited, yeah, man, they got room now for new patients. And they made extra cash on every COVID patient that was sent to the elderly homes. That's the accusation about Cuomo, but no. He rubbed up against somebody. Not even that.
I have after the break. I have his apology in total, and I'm noticing a few interesting things that stylistically that he's doing that Biden does too. I've been tracking the Biden. And I'll explain it later. I'm just saying that we do have the whole things for people to hear.
I have an important update on people who have received the vaccine. This is now leaking into the mainstream, local only, about side effects after having the second shot. And first we go to CBS Boston.
I'm ready, yeah.
Walpole Police Chief John Carmichael.
You're all done. Wow, that wasn't bad at all.
Who got a vaccination about a month after he was sick with COVID-19. We checked back to find out how he felt in the days following the shot.
By the second day, it was like I got the fever and the chills and the headache.
One day, as he drove home that week.
The pain in my lymph nodes was like radiating down my arm. It was radiating into my chest. It was something I've never felt before, so I actually pulled into the fire department.
He ended up in an ambulance.
In people who've had COVID-19, their first shot is boosting their immune response that's already there from having had the disease.
Dr. Paul Sachs is director of the Infectious Disease Clinic at Brigham and Women's Hospital.
Younger people are getting more side effects than older people, but not always.
CDC records the I-Team analyzed show 19,873 Americans reporting side effects after COVID-19 vaccinations. A little more from Pfizer, 64%, 36% Moderna. In Massachusetts, 540 reported side effects, including 97 ER visits and 71 hospitalizations. The records show the vast majority were women, 81%. Men can feel sick too, though. Sue Troy regrets not keeping track of her husband before his fever landed him in the ER.
We took the temperature and it was 105.5.
This is something we need to recognize happens regularly and give people the chance not only to go get the vaccine, but to recover from it afterwards.
What happened to might be just super painful. What's this 105.5 fever? What's this? My lymph nodes are burning all the way down my arms. Liar, liar. Bill Gates on fire. You want
the lymph node thing is pretty high on the list of side effects,
and that could be. I think that could be dangerous to your health. How your lymph nodes are affected. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. Dr. Bill.
Well, you can get a lot of. You can get a lot of another reports coming in. Are these false positives for cancer because of the effects of this vaccine.
Well, I want to stay on these side effects because I have a note that I need to read as well. But first, let's go to Ben Stein. Ben Stein, very very famous for Ben Stein's money. You know, take my money, spend his money.
Mueller.
Yeah. Ben Stein reports back. I think he's in Israel. It looks like it. I'm not sure. And I think he makes reference to it, but just listen to his side effects. And he's got to be in his 60s.
A word of warning to you, my fellow Americans, or whatever you are. I had the COVID booster, the Moderna, about 4 or 5 days ago, and I am still feeling wild side effects from it. Like I had the worst flu in the world, extreme shortness of breath, a dizziness, fatigue, extremely irrational thinking. It has just been devastating. I'm glad I got it. Sort of glad. I don't know. I'm a little bit glad and also not quite so glad. But it has just got to be told to the people. Us people, we people, us people.
What does he mean, us people, we people? Do you mean Jews, Ben Stein? It's a little confusing to me.
To be told to the people. Us people, we people, us people.
All right.
This booster is a killer. I mean, it's not going to kill you literally, but it is very, very strong. Beware.
That's your bumper sticker. This booster is a killer. Mm-hmm. It's so bad that now, this is being considered.
Some doctors say we need a vaccine holiday. They want the Biden administration to establish a one-time federal holiday to give people more time to get their shots and to raise awareness.
And to recover. To recover, you need days to recover from this. And please, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the final encore performance by Miss Dolly Parton of her career and perhaps life.
Well, hey, it's me. I'm finally going to get my vaccine. I'm so excited. I've been waiting a while. I'm old enough to get it, and I'm smart enough to get it. So I'm very happy that I'm going to get my Moderna shot today. And I wanted to tell everybody, I think you should get out there and do it too. I even changed one of my songs to fit the occasion. It goes, vaccine, 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 vaccine. I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. Because once you're dead, then that's a bit too late.
I really hope she doesn't get too badly affected, but it's inevitable. This is happening everywhere. And I have an update from Bad Chad, our EMT from Colorado, and it's not good. You recall Chad, after being bullied by his colleagues, pressured, and what the hell, I'm young attitude. He had severe side effects after receiving his second shot.
And the mental craziness that Ben Stein described.
A little bit of that, yeah. He couldn't put words together, thought he was having a stroke.
Seems like more than a little bit when you can't put words together.
A quick update, says Bad Chad. After my pseudo-stroke last week, I have also contracted shingles.
Oh,
jeez. I'm 42. The chickenpox virus that has been lazing around in my nerves for the past 35 years just randomly decided to wake up now. Again, no way to know whether this is vaccine related, no way to ask. Any doctor or healthcare provider that I would have immediate access to only has their expert opinion to offer, which is based on someone else's expert opinion. My doctor's not a scientist. They mostly work in an if-then sort of world of diagnosis and prescription. They are not equipped to deal with in hypotheticals. So that's a new turn. Super fun. I get to look forward to 4 to 6 weeks of painful lesions. I would have preferred to take my chances with COVID-19. Worse still, a colleague of mine, again, there's no way to definitely link the two, but he got his second dose and then developed type 1 diabetes. Yeah. So this poor bastard went temporarily blind, went to the ER, finds out his blood glucose level is 5 times normal because his pancreas stopped making insulin. So now he's being fitted with an insulin pump, and as a 30-year-old gets to spend the rest of his life as a diabetic. He too has questions, but no one will answer. The vaccine is safe and effective, and really, what do the answers matter? He's a diabetic now, and even if it could be linked to the vaccine, there's no way to hold Moderna or Pfizer or any of them responsible. It just doesn't matter. I am embarrassed that I was bullied into this stupid shot. Pissed, frustrated, but mostly embarrassed. I knew better. This is, now, Chad's a friend, so I know him. He's not a guy that is going to whine about something. And he's a medical professional. He's been doing this all his life. This is very, very troubling. And take into account from another one of our producers, our local hospital is having a hard time staffing its ER department after the staff were all given the Moderna vaccine. My wife, a nurse in another department, had Pfizer and experienced no adverse effects. One of our friends who had the Moderna vaccine experienced the same migraine-like reaction as the listener who wrote in on the last show. So this is troubling. We were definitely promised maybe really, really hurt, but none of this other stuff. None of it.
Well, they'll just say it's outliers. Most people get through the whole thing without a problem whatsoever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, of course, the Catholic Church says you can't take the Johnson & Johnson vaccine.
Ah, yes. Yes.
I was wondering, I heard about this from my daughter. She says, and I said, what is that all about? So I did find an explanation for it if anyone's interested.
Yes,
and this is the This clip is called COVID vaccine fetal cells.
Protect as many Americans as possible as soon as possible, but now there may be an obstacle. Some church leaders are raising concerns about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine because cell lines derived from abortions were used in its development. Joining us now is NPR's Tom Gelton. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Ari.
Explain which church leaders are raising these concerns and what are they saying?
Well, not surprisingly, Ari, it's those that focus most on abortion, notably U.S. Catholic bishops, also some evangelicals. In both cases, we have statements that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is morally compromised because fetal cell lines were used in its development. They say that if people have a choice in vaccines, they should avoid the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. If they don't have a choice, they could go ahead and get whatever vaccine is available. And of course, Ari, as you know, right now, most people don't have that choice.
Explain what they mean when they say fetal cell lines were used in its development. Like, how were they used?
Well, fetal cell lines have long been used in developing vaccines. Not to get too technical about it, but my understanding is
you might as well.
Cells from human fetuses can be used kind of like little factories to develop viruses that then become a part of a vaccine. They can also be used during the testing process to determine the efficacy of a vaccine. In the case of the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, that's the only way fetal cells were used. But in the Johnson & Johnson case, fetal cells were used more directly. The cell line in that case came from a fetus that was aborted back in 1985. Not the fetal cells themselves, but a line that was reproduced from those cells. That's what gave rise to this concern.
Huh. So the fetal cells were also involved in the Pfizer and Moderna process.
Seems to me if that's involved at all, you can't just like, well, just like, you know, how much is a little bit? Can we cross this line? Can we cross this line? Can we cross this line? It's just like nitpicking.
If you want to know which vaccine to take, which is the best, you know there's only one person who has the answer. And that is Team Cat. Team Halo. Dr. Cat on TikTok. She knows what's going on. She can tell you what to do. Dr. Cat, take it away.
Hey, Dr. Cat, epidemiologist. A lot of you ask me what's the best vaccine to get, so I have a tip for you. The best vaccine for you to get is the first vaccine that's available to you.
Oh!
All of the vaccines that are currently approved or about to be approved will keep you out of the ICU and alive, which is the goal of any vaccine program. Especially people in my comments that are saying, well, I'm high risk, so I want to wait for Pfizer or Moderna or whatever brand you think is better. You definitely are somebody as a high-risk person that shouldn't be waiting, and you should be getting vaccinated sooner and not later. So the best vaccine is the first one available to you.
Oh, I can't wait to sue her. She deserves a lawsuit. An idiot. Now, what's really troubling is Israel. And I started paying attention to what's happening in Israel regarding vaccinations and coronavirus the minute they announced the green passport. And the green passport is the passport that will let you in, will let you do things, will let you have a life. Coincidentally, the European Union COVID passport is also now being branded as a green passport. I'm pointing this out because it's not about COVID. If it's green, you know what it's going to be used for in the future. It'll be used maybe to track your carbon usage or waste. Just your physical nastiness on the planet. It'll all go into green passport. This is a troubling development with these passports. And then you find out that Israel is pretty much a petri dish right now and is being used as such, according to the CEO of Pfizer. Pfizer did a huge deal with Israel for their vaccine. Here's Albert Bourla.
Obviously, post-phase 3, you've continued to collect data. What have you learned about your vaccine? Is it more effective than we were originally told? Does it have weaknesses that have been exposed? What have you found out?
A lot of things, and we keep analyzing it. And I believe Israel has become the world's lab right now because they are using only our vaccine in the States, and they have vaccinated very big part of their population, so we can study both economic and health indexes. What we've seen it is that the vaccine efficacy in real-world data is getting higher as we speak, following the second vaccination. So 7 days compared to 14 days post the second vaccination, there is a difference in efficacy.
Okay, two things. One, Israel is the world's lab. Okay. And two, I thought it didn't matter when you took your second shot. Now, the CEO of Pfizer says your second shot after 7 days, more effective than after 14 days. Where's this news?
This is unbelievable.
It gets better. Sir Brian of London, who lives in Israel, also very active in Podcasting 2.0, he sent me a clip of Ilana Daniels. She is member of the Rapeh Party, which means be healthy, a brand new party they started because they were against what was happening, against what was going down with Israel being turned into a lab, against the deal being cut with Pfizer, and apparent forced vaccinations. And she gave us a little breathy rundown of her outrage in an impromptu live session.
They took away the head of the party's his medical license, and they removed our platforms from Facebook, and now they won't let the media even write about us. So we want to ask all the international, anywhere we can get to publicize what we are saying. It's a very bad situation here. They're not letting children as young as 16 to take their matriculation exams without taking this injection. They are, of course, insisting people for work. They're making this green passport where half the population cannot get into theaters or malls or all sorts of things unless they've taken the vaccination. They're creating a medical apartheid. They have now issued, just this morning, they made it that they're allowed to send each person's private medical records to the local municipality so that they'll know who's taken the injection or not. They're making people wear a ankle bracelet, security bracelet, when they come back from traveling. It's absolutely insane.
Now, she is very upset, and she's not entirely right on the ankle bracelet. In fact, the bracelet is a hell of a lot more entertaining.
You can see behind me it's largely deserted. There are 4 flights that are scheduled to arrive this afternoon, and passengers on those flights will be part and parcel of a new pilot program that is being launched today and which is hugely controversial. A year ago, one would not have imagined that we'd be in this situation. Now, when you arrive in Israel, you have one of 2 choices. Either you quarantine in an army hotel, or you can go home and do a home quarantine for 10 days, but now you have to go home with an electronic monitoring system. This entails wearing an electronic bracelet either around your wrist or your ankle. Now, this bracelet is part of a tracking system. It's connected to a smartphone, which is connected to a sticker that is placed on one of the walls of a person's home. The company monitoring the whole system will receive some kind of signal the moment the person steps foot out of their home. So it's a way to try and stop people breaking home quarantine, and it's also a way for the Israelis to reopen the skies and return to some kind of normality. The company that has designed the technology says that everything is safe and that people should not be worried. In fact, it is not as intrusive, this technology, as other apps that are currently being used in Israel. The company has also stressed the point that it's not monitoring any kind of personal information. It's not recording any information, and at the same time, it's not taking pictures. It's also said that the bracelet is, to quote, comfortable, that it is efficient, that people won't even know that they have it on them. It's very light and it's waterproof. They've actually gone so far as to call it a freedom bracelet, saying that it gives passengers arriving in Israel the choice to do an army hotel quarantine or a home quarantine.
No, that's not Orwellian. It's a freedom bracelet. You have the freedom to stay home. Stay in your house. Don't move away from the sticker. So this is concerning because it's a time when I get a Red Book entry that I'm really not happy about. These passports are real and they're happening, and I want to listen to this one Wall Street Journal report, and then we can talk about what the passports will be because they're inevitable.
Julio Castañeda is flying to New York, and before he can board his flight, he has to prove that he's COVID-free.
You download the app on your phone, it has all your information.
This is AOK Pass, a digital health passport that verifies whether someone has tested negative for the coronavirus or gotten inoculated. It's also known as a vaccine passport and meant to be easier to use and more reliable than paper immunization cards.
Medical results often are not even printed in a way that it's easy to interpret. Our system can verify health records.
Since the pandemic has devastated the travel industry, airports in Rome, Paris, and Singapore, as well as airlines like JetBlue and United, are experimenting with similar apps. They will compete for a slice of the global market for travel health services and certifications, which AOK Pass estimates is worth nearly $20 billion. Travel industry experts say this type of digital health certificate could be a game changer, not just for tourism, but live events and schools. So here's how digital health passports work. Travelers who weren't able to take a COVID-19 test before departure at this airport in Rome can get swabbed at a testing site set up by the airport. While waiting for the result, passengers can download the AOK Pass app and input their personal information like their birthday and email address. Within 30 minutes, the result is available. If the traveler tests negative, the app creates a unique QR code that serves as proof.
I believe this clip tells us exactly what is coming. First, there's a $20 billion industry which is already being rolled out by making testing available at the airport. This clip had some video of it, and you see poor schmuck travelers with in cubicles with sticks being jabbed into their face. They will never do a vaccine-only passport. The way this is going to go down, to tap into the money, is it can be you're vaccinated or you have a recent test that shows you are negative. And the whole idea is just like TSA frequent, the clear pass, TSA pre is if you take the vaccine, you won't have this hassle. Otherwise, you're going to have to get a test every single time you get on an airplane, and it's going to be everywhere. And it will be domestic in the United States, too. And this will naturally force people towards getting the vaccine.
Well, let's hope there's some really talented lawyers out there that put a stop to this idea. Yeah.
Breaking news about the Johnson & Johnson fetal matter vaccine.
And this morning, Johnson & Johnson saying they'll soon test their single-shot dose on children, even newborns and pregnant women.
There's something sick about putting newborn cells into newborns.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic.
Okay, this is not a vaccine, people. It's a medical device. They are lying to you. It's not a vaccine. It's a medical device that works at a nuclear, molecular level. It's disgusting.
Well, that was the most depressing opening for quite a while.
Well, then, let me see if I can make you feel better with these words from one of our favorite preachers.
Before we begin, let's pray. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, our...
It's nothing like someone say Heavenly Farts.
Heavenly Father, our hearts.
Oh, man.
Let me see if there's anything else we need to do on the... what else do I have?
Well, I have two clips.
I'm sure you've got some vaccine stuff
that I want to get rid of. Mm-hmm. And this is a local. You did your local thing on Austin. I'm going to do this. This is our local thing. This is KQED, our local station, on the reopenings, because we're going to be reopening, and you're going to hear some reporting, especially in clip number 2, some very talented reporters.
KQED's
local.
Local women that work at KQED. But here's the opening.
Is it important that they're local women? Is it just important that they're local, or just talented?
No, just that they're just a local talent.
Talent. Yeah, I got a talent.
KQED's Leslie McClurg. She spoke with afternoon host Tara Seiler.
And Leslie, these counties can now join San Mateo and Marin, which moved from the purple to the red tier last week. Remind us of what changes we can expect under the red tier.
It's lots of fun stuff. It'll make things like shopping a lot easier because more people will be allowed inside a store at one time with limited capacity based on the county. Some fun activities can now be available, like the Ferris wheel, for example, inside Golden Gate Park. Here's a pretty formal list from James R. Williams. He's the county council in Santa Clara County.
Retail, museums, zoos and aquariums, movie theaters, gyms and fitness centers, and significantly indoor dining.
Woo! And Finshopper.
Is that it?
That's clip 1.
Oh, okay. Well, then we go to clip 2 where we also have London Breed comes in here and she talks about people wearing masks. We have the mask. And then we have a kind of an in-depth, we have these reporters that get paid real money. And they have a limited vocabulary, but it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And Mayor London Breed emphasized that this is really good news. Things are opening up, but we have to be careful to prevent, these lockdowns from happening again in the future.
So that means that, for example, when you're at a restaurant waiting for your table, keep your mask on. When your waiter walks up to the table, put your mask on. When you go to the restroom, put your mask on.
So, Leslie, yes, we have been here before in the red tier. What's to say that reopening won't put us right back into another surge?
It's a really big question mark. I mean, I remember last fall when we went into the yellow tier in San Francisco and we were all thrilled that we were finally kind of out of the dark days. And it seemed like before I knew it, I was back reporting on the fact that surges were really spiking. And so it really depends. And officials are really urging folks to take this really seriously. Because if viral transmission goes up and we see spikes and cases rise and hospitalizations rise, these openings and closings are based on data. We will shut back down. So it all depends on how seriously and how careful we are as the public so that we won't go back to the purple tier and we move, hopefully, into the orange tier instead in a few weeks.
John C. Dvorak, where do you find the time? The purple tier to the orange tier.
No. Purple or red to orange. You got to get these
I've got it all
tiers
wrong.
correct.
This is very, that was, yes, you have some great talent over there on the left. And with that, I feel it is time for me to thank you for your courage and say in the morning to you, the man who put the C in the PCR lowered in Ontario to 35, John C. Dvorak. Oh, there it is.
Fast Blue Ribbon!
That's right, everybody. He doesn't drink any old American beer. He only drinks PBR. I had no idea there were so many Pabst Blue Ribbon songs in the universe.
It's a
it's unbelievable. This is
in the morning to you,
yes.
in the morning to you, and in the morning to Dames and Nights and everybody else listening to today's show.
Yes,
Dreb Scott's at the top of our list.
Hello, we have a lot of things to do, and you keep doing this. We've been doing it for 14 years. I'm going to say in the morning to the troll room first.
Oh, in the morning to the troll room, yeah.
That is at noagendastream.com, where you can log in. You can troll along in the troll room. And, Bemrose, why did you do that? See, now, Bemrose had to go do the troll count. That is just rude. I'm doing the troll count. Trolls, raise your hands. Okay, there you go. We got 1856. It is a Thursday, so it's reasonable. Unbelievable. Just counting the trolls
during the height.
Yeah, it's really
COVID. We had 22 on the.
Thursday. Oh, that's right. When people were home. NoAgendaStream.com is where you can hang out, listen to all the live shows that are pre-shows, live shows that are shows before, after and then just shows that roll out because everyone loves them. They're on NoAgendaStream.com. All talk, no commercials. Sometimes some cool commercial-free music with the 00. And when you're in there, you can ask for one of the last remaining invites for noagendasocial.com, which is our social network, which is federated, so you can connect with any other Mastodon-type system. Pleroma works, as Gitmo.life have their own version, and we're locking it down at 10,000 to keep everything on this timeline in check. But that doesn't mean that you won't be able to participate and follow and be followed. And if you'd like an invite for that, ask for it in the troll room and then sign up. noagendasocial.com. Now, we need to thank the artist for our previous episode. This was episode 1325. We titled it Leap Aside. For those who celebrated their birthday on the wrong day, on the 28th instead of the 29th. The artwork was brought to us by Mountain Jay. Nice piece of a missile titled Diplomacy flying through the air with the curiously designed D, which looks a lot like the Democratic Party in the diplomacy. And
that D is the Democratic Party's new logo.
That's the logo, all right. Yeah. It was a very nice piece, and I'd love to talk about the other pieces that were on the art generator. However, sadly, and this is the downside of a value for value show, we had two problems with two of our infrastructure pieces this past week. One is noagendashow.net, which had already been experiencing problems updating. I was not able to get a hold of the dude named Ben, producer, who was doing it. Eric's searching all over for everybody, and so we decided to make a judgment call because it had been almost 4 days since an episode had updated. Second time this had happened in 2 weeks. So we just flipped it temporarily to noagendanation.com, so at least you can get your most recent episode. Latest word is that everything will be fixed and back to normal by today. However, No Agenda Art Generator, we split up our duties on this. And John, you went looking for Sir Paul Couture, and what do we know about the Art Generator, seeing as it's still
the
not
Art
online?
Generator will be down for today, and for I don't know how, maybe next show too. Mm-hmm. Paul's in the wind.
In the wind?
He's in the wind.
So that means have we had contact with him?
No, it's not possible to get a hold of him.
Okay.
I have a pretty good idea how to get a hold of him, and I'm going to continue to try. Mm-hmm. But until we get a hold of him, this thing will be like this. This has happened with Paul before.
Yeah.
And it'll be fixed eventually. So what we are going to do today is Darren O'Neill has been assigned the job of creating the art and for two reasons. One, he always produces 4 pieces. One's always usable and can always win on any given show. So we know we're going to
pressure's on for him, huh?
Well, you don't want to say that.
Yeah, I do.
It's like hey, Darren, don't choke.
So
don't choke.
Moving forward, though, and this is sad because I love the distributed nature of the No Agenda show. We rely too much on our website for us not to be able to do anything if it goes down. And the same for the Art Generator. Although we have many backups, and I know people have made backups, we really need to move that into infrastructure that we can at least tap into. And Void Zero has said that he's very happy to work with Bemrose and all the guys who do the wizardry of everything else. Certainly for the delivery of files.
These things happen.
Yeah, these things happen. Yeah.
Even when you don't have value for value, it happens. I mean, I remember the AOL update that was done with millions of people some years back, probably around 95.
Did that go wrong? I can't remember what happened.
It went down. They were down for days.
Oh, gosh. I think I do remember that. And what did people do? Wasn't there a baby boom at that time? When that was, people had nothing. They had nothing left to do at that point.
Actually, it may have been earlier than that. It was in the early. It was before the internet really took off and kicked their ass. But these sort of things happen, and we're sorry. But luckily, we do have enough of the meta structure is fantastic, and I know Darren will come up with some pieces. Don't start everyone submitting. We'll get back to normal soon, and I don't want to discourage anybody else. And the only reason, again, we chose Darren is because he's extremely consistent, and he's always been doing this, and he was, and it's something that he can do. I mean, and it'll be good.
If you ask me, it's a career moment.
It's a career. Yes, the only designated artist in the history of the show.
And it makes it a heck of a lot harder for Dreb Scott to do our Podcasting 2.0 images. So we'll see what he comes up with. Thank you to Dreb Scott for doing that. And more podcast apps are now showing the chapters, the transcripts. You can search inside of it. Newpodcastapps.com. Join the revolution. Everyone else is. All the cool kids are.
Yeah, the cool kids. Dreb Scott actually is right at the top of our list.
Yeah, which is the guy does so much. He does all of these chapters for at least 3 shows I'm involved in, and then he donates. I mean, it's incredibly generous. Our Dreb.
He's a prince. No, I take it back. He's not. He's a duke.
He's a duke, baby. That's right.
Dreb Scott, the Duke of Southern California, mega region, came in with $1,326.33. That's a show club member.
It is. It's a dynamite donation. Thank you so much.
Of course, the Duke of Southern California's mega region, $1,326.33. He wants biscuit on my birthday, Biden whole low, Trump massive dumps, and all plugged up TV clip attached. I don't know if you have that. Today, March 4th, is his birthday. Please send me the birthday list. I've never asked for any jingles, but I thought I'd indulge. My birthday falls on a show day this year. Please also belatedly add Theodore Geisel to the birthday list for March 2nd. That's Dr. Seuss for anybody uninformed. Thank you for the amygdala protecting deconstruction twice weekly on Thursday, 73s.
All right, 73s to you. Does he have a call sign? I probably wouldn't do that if he wants to be that
anonymous.
Say it. And was there any karmas?
No, they didn't say that either.
Here we go.
They always give me a biscuit on my birthday.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
They did dumps. They call them dumps. Big, massive dumps.
He was plugged up.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, send it.
That was a
clips.
good one. I don't
nice.
even. Okay. Well,
nice.
you did find the clip. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Eric Naus, and you have to go look for his email because his sister sent me a note saying, Eric sent you the note, but you can't get your email's not working to receive his note. I said, well, how did I get your note? Why don't you just attach it? And they got no answer back on that. So
it was from him or from her?
From him, Eric.
Okay. Eric. I'm pretty sure I saw a Naus email come through.
Came in with $376.53 from Petrolia, Ontario, Canada. And if you can find the note, or I can go to the next one, you can read the note after Vinny.
I do not have anything recent from Eric Naus. I just don't have it, so I don't know what happened.
Any Naus.
I'm looking for. The only Naus I have is from July last year. So I've looked at the Naus.
Okay, well, that didn't work.
Maybe it was there. Maybe it's his email problem and not ours.
I'm guessing so because Ann got to me very easily.
Yeah. All right. Well, send us a note. We'll
onward. We can figure it out later.
We'll fix it whenever you're good, man.
Vinny and Aoife. Wow. Vinny and Aoife. That's a tough one to pronounce if you don't have a little guide there. Argyle, Texas, 33376. Hey, guys, can you please read the following note? Oh, yes, that's the idea. ITM, John and Adam, and to all the mofos of Gitmo Nation, please credit this executive producership to the best podcast in the universe, to my smoking hot, cunning, and stunning wife, Sinead. And I knew how to pronounce it because there used to be a singer named Sinead.
Still is, John. She's still around.
Still bald?
Yep.
For it is her birthday today, 3/4. My daughter and I have been trying to figure out what to do for the woman we both love so dearly. And then it hit me. Her birthday falls on a show day.
All right.
Bingo. We'd have so much more money if we did 3 shows a week. I informed our 10-year-old daughter of this, and we both agreed that the executive producership was the perfect gift for the perfect wife and perfect mother.
No.
So happy birthday, babe, mom. Furthermore, I'd like to express a big thank you to John, Adam, and all the producers out there for keeping the stream of truth and sanity going. No agenda is what the world needs now. What the world needs now more than ever. If we can all continue to do the work, quote unquote, of hitting others in the mouth, I truly believe humanity stands a chance of survival. Best wishes to all. Vinny and What is it again? Ifa. Good luck with that one. Haha. Yuck. But my pronunciations. And if we may, a jingle request of a family favorite. Fromer, not sure of the spelling, but it's the train guy. Foamer. It's Foamer, like Foamer, guy foaming at the mouth. Get it? Dealer's choice of karma for all.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
I'll grab this one.
Karma. Before you grab it.
Yeah.
I will mention that the Zephyr did go by on time today. About 9:16 or so. 8 cars.
Whoa.
Without a mail car, so that would have been a 9-car train, which is a lot for the Zephyr. So it's. I think people are looking at I can't fly by airplane. I'm going to start taking the train.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have an official Zephyr report. Let the guys over at CNBC Squawk Box know that we have a 9-car Zephyr. It could be replacing air travel, but it's good news, everybody. Bitcoin, 47,753.
Fact check false.
Oh my God! Woo! Listen to that horn!
Bob from Missouri sends 333.33. He figured out the special 3-day, as it is. That was yesterday, 3321. So it was 333, and he got it. In the morning, thank you for your courage. A hearty jingle bingle to Midnight Mike. I don't know what a jingle bingle is. For my second donation, let it be known that karma is real. I deduced at the start of last month. Within a few weeks, I had a bonus check announced to me. To all the douchebags out there, listen closely. Karma is only a bitch if you are a douche. No amount is too small, and imagine what the good mistress could return on a monthly value recognition plan. I agree. That's a very good point, Bob. The value for value model is spreading. In fact, I believe my church is plagiarizing the Podfather. Well, there you go. There you go. During the collection of the offering, we are now told that giving is not just financial, but includes our time, talent, and our treasure. Really? Well, not ripping off me, ripping off Tina the Keeper. She's the one that came up with that for me. Is this tagline considered fair use within the public domain, or should I discover the perpetrator of the IP theft and demand no agenda's 1/3 share for any excess benefit realized? I think that's possible exit strategy. You could give it a try.
Yeah, stealing from the church.
Screaming dog karma for all the ladies and knights, please. I will join you at the round table soon. Bob from Missouri, the future Sir 10 Cryptids. The future Sir 10 Cryptids. There we go.
You've got karma.
Dustin Otto in Berrien Springs, Michigan, 333.33. And it's a Rogan donation.
Rogan donation.
Please have the back office consider this dirty fiat as advertising for my company.
Cuckbucks.
Autoland Surveying, OTTO. Adam, I was excited to hear you mention NFTs the other day. I bought a couple No Agenda NFT domains a couple months ago, and would be happy to donate them to the cause. NFT art is a game changer for artists. The artist of the NFT receives a percentage of the NFT sale every time it is bought and sold. Getting No Agenda art on an NFT marketplace would be great. Maybe a dude named Ben could build a DApp. That's a decentralized app. A specification for No Agenda NFTs, no jingles, just some of that sweet goat karma.
Yeah, this is the non-fungible tokens, which the NBA, but many others are doing, and people are making big bank on this. I think it's probably the initial coin offering of this period. It's kind of the ICO thing, so you'll see there'll be a lot of heat on it, and there'll be a lot of scamming and all kinds of issues. It's a cyclical thing. Doesn't mean that we don't mind scamming away. So if we have, I think producer Jack, who was going to go and see if he can find someone who can put that together for the art generator. You better hurry because right now there's no art generator. And he wanted No Jingle, some of the sweet goat karma. We'll give you some of that sweet, sweet goat karma. Come on, goats, where are you? Goatees!
You've got karma.
Grant Nelson's in Placerville, and he gave us 333.33. Placerville is up where our Hollywood producer.
Oh, is it?
Brunetti's up in that neck of the woods, and he he's also in the wind. Haven't heard from him.
Oh, no, he tweets me from time to time.
ITM, please de-douche me.
No, we got that.
No, he may be tweeting you.
You've been de-douched.
He may be tweeting you, but that doesn't mean he's not in the wind.
He's not in the wind.
My longtime buddy, Rick B. of Elko, Nevada, punched me in the mouth last December. I've enjoyed every episode since. Rick says he also appreciates your show, but he's yet to donate. Please call him out as a douchebag. Douchebag. For my jingle, I want Don't Trust China. I can use some karma. Grant, also Kilo India 6 Whiskey X-Ray Alpha. 73, I'm assuming.
Yeah, 73.
Donald Trump, don't trust China. China is asshole.
You've got karma.
Fit nicely.
Andrew Echternock, I'm guessing. 333.33. Isn't that nice we get these? This number is very popular. I figured since it's 333 Day, I'd donate part of my tax return to put myself 2/3 of the way to knighthood. Speaking of donations, Scott Post still hasn't donated. I'm not sure how many times I need to call him out as a douchebag. Douchebag. Before he gets the hint to spend you some money, send you some money, or spend you some money. Thanks again for everything you guys do. Jingles, whole load, Fauci Wheeze. Look at that juice.
I'm going to give you the whole load today.
Oh, my gosh. Can you see that juice?
There you go. Sick people. You're sick.
One of the greatest clips ever.
Yeah, it is.
Jenna D'Amico, I'm sure, in Bellingham, Washington. 333.33. And she writes, forgive me, Podfather, I've sinned. I've been around 6 months since my last donation. My birthday is 3/3. Bonus payout is 3/5. And the best way to celebrate such a good week with the fine folks of the No Agenda Nation. This donation should secure me a seat at the round table to which I have been wishing to join since I started listening, way back around episode 700. Humbly request to be Dame J, protector of the pandas.
Ooh.
I assume she's on the list. Even several of my friends, sirs and dames, could use some jobs, Karma. But otherwise, thank you for your dedication, for keeping my eyes open.
Jobs. You've got karma.
Brandon Mango in Hanoverton, Ohio, 333. I need a de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
Been listening since Adam's first appearance on Rogan. One more time.
Oh,
you don't want to play the jingle?
Usually I do it the first time, but it's okay. We'll do it again.
No, you
did it.
Donation.
No, you did it.
And find myself enjoying your show even more than his. No need for jingles. Just thank you for your services and helping me better understand the chaos that is going on in the world. It's a different kind of show for starters.
Yeah.
Our show is like different kind of show. It's really more of an analysis show. It's not.
Thanks for
interviews.
that.
Interviews are harder to make. I hate to say it, but most interviewees aren't that interesting.
Correct.
I just wanted to call out Celine Smida for being a douchebag. Because I hit her in the mouth, but she donated. She donated $100 last week and beat me to the punch.
De-douche.
You've been de-douched.
Not good.
Confusing us. Yes. Thanks again for the show. I'm working on punching the mango keeper in the mouth.
This is where it's so, you look at the spreadsheet, it's not red for douche because we have color codings. And you're like, oh, Eric must have missed it. You see?
Well, people can, this is like reading from a prompter that you didn't write to copy.
Yeah. We'll do it live.
And you're cold reading.
Yeah.
So you could set somebody up with some pretty funny material.
It's okay,
I'm
John.
not recommending that, by the way.
You just reading it is pretty funny by itself. We all appreciate it.
Yeah, I guess so. David Fugazotto in Saudi Arabia, I assume. No note, $333. He just sent in Thank you for your courage. No jingles, no karma.
I hope he's okay. I mean, he's still stuck there. The family can't visit him, and he doesn't even send a note. And I'm concerned. I want to check in.
Well, at least he's...
I'll have Tina check in with Dame Melody.
Kevin Brockman in Earlville, Illinois, 31176. Hey, guys. Been a while since I donated. Have no time or talent, so here's some treasure. I canceled my family Spotify subscription at $12.99 a month. So here's a prepaid 2-year subscription. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm saying to him, no jingles, no karma. Thanks, guys. I'm going to add another annoying YouTubeism. Quote, if you like this donation, don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thanks. Very
and
annoying.
Mash the like button.
Oh, wait, hold on a second. I had that. Hold on a second. It's not mash. It's, here it is. I have it here.
Smash that like button and feed the algorithm.
Smash that like button and feed the algorithm. That's what you do. Stephen Fuchs, Streamwood, Illinois, 23491, our first associate executive producer. Forgive me, Podfather. I had sinned. It's been too many shows since my last donation. Please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
Not that it matters to me, but just as a general rule, I like to let people know that douche is from the French word douche, which is shower, D-O-U-C-H-E. I have received far too much value out of the best podcast in the universe that would be wrong not to donate. That would be wrong. Almost 6 months ago, a No Agenda donation segment included a note from a fellow dude named Ben Producer looking to meet a like-minded gay Christian listener around his age in Chicago suburbs to see where things might go. Sounded like the guy I've been searching for, so I reached out, and I'm happy to report that his dating karma was a success. Who needs Grindr when you have no agenda? It's a bumper sticker right there. I should note that we live only 33 minutes away from each other, and I met this handsome man while still on my 33rd trip around the sun. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Anyway, no S, I'm making this donation in celebration of his 30th birthday today, March 4th. I thought a donation to the podcast that brought us together would be a pretty good gift. That's a nice story. I like these stories. You say to make donation amount you said to make a donation amount mean something. Actually, what I said is making meaningful to you. That's important. So that can be just the value. Value is whatever it is to you. So make it meaningful to you, which is why Stephen says I chose 23491. 2 for the two of us, 3 for March, his birthday month, 4 for the day of his birthday, and 91 for the year he was born. Happy birthday, Kurt. Jingle request, Pensy, Pelosi, jobs, karma, ISIS in America, some extra relationship karma, and a most recent ISO that was on 1324.
Ooh.
Jobs.
Wait, I want to do this way. Do the other way.
Ow! ISIS.
We will follow them to the gates of hell.
ISIS.
I feel good.
Ooh.
Jobs.
And jobs. You've got karma.
Another gay connection made on the No Agenda Show. A romance.
Unbelievable since we're right-wing nuts.
I know, and totally transphobe, homophobe, blackphobe, redphobe, yellowphobe, phobe.
You know, we're also phobe.
Phobe. We are phobe. I'm phobophobic.
I like phobophobe.
Phobophobic.
Be a good name for the show.
Phobophobic.
Dame Jennifer, 23333.
There she is.
And we have, I got to skip a bunch. Hey, guys, still my favorite. Here's your latest share of the ANA donations I've received recently. Please send some regular jobs and dating karma. I've had a total fail with the setup after he saw the ANA channel.
Well, no, that's not a fail. That's not a fail.
Dimension B loser going in.
That's the early warning sign, baby. That's the good news.
So not built to last, or that much of a surprise. But still, what a turd, she writes.
Well,
thank you for the sanity, XOXO Dame Jennifer.
If I may, if we are able to be the grinder, I'm sure we can be the Tinder. There's got to be a way that we can find the perfect mate for Dame Jennifer.
Oh, half of South Carolina would love to go out with her.
Yeah, but half the maybe
all of South Carolina doesn't listen to No Agenda.
So it's a very thin sliver that we've got to find. Well, I'm going to give you some karma, Dame Jennifer. Thank you for all you do.
You've got karma.
All you do.
I'm getting a little annoyed with my mouse.
What's your mouse doing?
Well, it's like one of those optical mouses, but I don't know if the optics crap out after a while because it just dies and it's like, I don't know why. Maybe this
battery?
Desk is
battery?
No, it's not a battery thing. I guarantee that.
Oh, maybe do you have a good pad? You're going to need a good pad for those optical mice.
I don't know.
It's getting
where
back
are
at
we?
you.
Lisa Lynch. Yeah. I can't find Lisa Lynch's email. That she
neither.
sent one in. She may have sent something to you. She's in Foxborough, Massachusetts. $223.21.
No, I don't have anything either.
But I didn't get anything that says donation in the subject line. And I will scold people who fail to do that. They will send notes in, but it just says notes or something.
I didn't see it.
But Lisa, if you get a note first, let us know. We'll
make
it
good.
Todd Webster in Wellsboro, Pennsylvania, 207. Cheers. With this donation, I stumble into knighthood on my birthday, 3/3, where I turn 33 plus 3 times 3.
Ooh.
I'd like have some. Okay. I'd like to have some is what he wants to say. The Pennsylvania rye added to the table, and I think we all need an extra heaping of mutton to thin out the sheep herd. Henceforth, a word that I appreciate somebody trying to use.
It's a good word. It's a good word.
Henceforth, I'd like to be called, it's kind of a nighty thing to say.
Yeah.
Henceforth, I'd like to be called Sir Farmer Todd of the Upper Teodotin. I've thoroughly enjoyed the twice-weekly conspiracy therapy, but the real hidden gem is the community behind the show. No Agenda Social comes for the cat memes and stays for the great discussion. NJNK, just keep kicking ass, Sir Farmer Todd. Or to be Sir Farmer Todd.
From Sir Farmer Todd to be, we go to Texas Joe. $200, Magnolia, Tejas. Hey guys, long-time listener, first-time donor, glad to come out of the douchebag exile and take the first step towards my knighthood. I've always wanted to be an Insta-Knight, but it's just not in the cards. I was hit in the mouth by one of my own listeners a couple of years ago, and I've been listening ever since. I requested Go Podcasting, a podcaster karma from the Podfather and the best podcast in the universe. My show is called the Insurgency Knitting Circle Podcast. Several of my listeners are also No Agenda listeners. What up, my knittas? You guys are the best. That's cool. A right-wing QAnon knitting circle. Beautiful. I also need a truckload of goat karma for my first homesteading, skill building, and freedom workshop that I'm hosting at my farm north of Houston, April 9th, 10th, and 11th. That's a cool idea. I'd love to go to one of those. It's formally called Freedom and Farmsteading 2021, but has been dubbed TX21 Raising Goats. It will be one of the subjects among several other hands-on skills we will be teaching that weekend. I mean, gosh, man, this is a No Agenda, the meetup, basically. Raising goats, we got to go there. And here you go. If any No Agenda listeners are interested in attending, they can email me at info@ikcpodcast.com. IKC India Kilo Charlie podcast.com. I'm also looking for producers for my show and for the event. If anybody has interesting products and want some exposure. It sounds fun. Thanks in advance, gentlemen. Keep up the hard work. The show has helped me stay sane through COVID, layoff, unemployment, and hopefully now self-employment. Good luck with you, man. We love people who are self-starters.
Go podcasting!
You've got karma.
And that was $200. We have another $200 contributor. Anonymous holder. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey, let me do this. It's in Dutch, so there's going to be a lot in Dutch in there. Let me do this one. Annemiek holder, and she lives in Florida. A lot of Dutch people live in Florida. $200. Our final.
Why is this?
They love Florida. The Dutch love Florida. I don't know why.
So do the Germans.
Yeah. It's been an absolute joy to find you guys on the podcast over the last couple of months. I finally took the time to write you both and do a donation, $200. So please de-douche me.
You've been de-douched.
And make me the crazy Dutch lady. I think you're done. That's good. I don't have to make anything. I listened to the Robert Jensen show daily and saw Adam on there in the fall prior to the elections, which made me listen to his appearances on the Joe Rogan show. I am so excited to have found Adam again. Maybe it's the familiarity of his voice or the fact that it's taken me back to my youth in the Netherlands. I was a teenager and a college student listening to all his radio shows and music programs as Adam was DJing and hosting. A mini crush. Mm-hmm. Woo! Nothing mini about it. I've been in the United States for over 25 years now with my own family-loving husband, Chris, 2 teenagers, and a college student in the wonderful state of Florida. I love my Governor Ron DeSantis, and with that, the world of freedom we live in. It is hard to connect with friends and family in the Netherlands as we truly live in a different world in Florida and, of course, Adam in Texas. Sorry, John, California's a mess. Let's hope we can go back soon to the Netherlands to visit my elderly parents and Adam's daughter. Yes, I'd love to. Love the show with the no-nonsense, the common sense, the debunking of the media, and the references to the Netherlands and the Dutch culture. It has been a source of laughter and joy during this crazy time we live in. John, keep up your wine recommendations as I share them with my husband, and we enjoy living life. I'm still learning the lingo and the ins and outs of the No Agenda community. Would love some karma, as that's good for everyone. A meetup in Florida would be great, but I guess we're too busy living the life here in the Freedom State. With kind regards, vriendelijke groeten, Annemiek Holder, Ponte Verde Beach, Florida. So there's lots of meetups in Florida. So definitely go to noagendameetups.com. And you know what? You should start one. You should start one for the Dutch meetup in Florida. I think you'd be surprised how many people might show up for that. And thank you very much, Annemiek. So we'll give you a special Dutch goat karma then. How about that?
You've got karma.
And that is our executive and associate executive producers for show 1226. Is that the 13?
13.
I keep saying 12. 1326.
It's a banging group. A banging group today. Everyone jumped on the threes. It's very nice. And welcome to the new Rogan donators.
It's always a crapshoot.
Thank you all very much. Our executive and associate executive producers. It starts at 200, and at 300 you get the exec title, and that's when you get your note read. If you send one in, or if we can find it, we do our best. Systems are getting better all the time. But most importantly, these are titles that are real. They're recognized by Hollywood producers and celebrities. You can put them on your IMDb and your LinkedIn profile, just your CV, your resume. When you're going to just say it. I am an executive or associate executive producer of the No Agenda Show, episode 1326. It was a banger. And thank you. We'll be thanking more people if you'd like to participate in this value for value proposition that we have, which is very simple. You get value from the show, send it back. However you want to do it. If you're making a donation, make it meaningful to you, and you can find out more at
Dvorak.org/NA.
Just like the verb says, time, talent, or treasure. That's what it takes.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Order. Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
Couple of quick update, and then I have a little thing I'd like to present, which I think you'll like. Update on Texas with the fallout from now. All you've heard in the mainstream is Texas stupid, man. Yeah, Republicans did it. This was clearly a huge financial scam. That yes, Texas. We got bamboozled by this deregulation. And we're seeing now multiple firms filing for bankruptcy, all because they owe tremendous amounts of money to the to ERCOT, to the exchange where they trade their electricity, because a lot of them made some pretty bad bets and they could not deliver the electricity the energy they had pre-sold. And when it's at $9,000 and you can't provide it, you got to go buy it from somebody else. That's why we have, which one is this? Brazos Electric Power Cooperative, $1.8 billion in the hole. They're filing for bankruptcy. There are other firms that I'm told that will be filing for multi-billion-dollar bankruptcy protection, I should say, because we'll see what ultimately happens with them. And there was also some anomaly with, and it's still sketchy, but the details are dripping in. Sir Gene is all over this, that some of the power generators went on when they shouldn't, and that seemed like a weird bug. And I'm just putting it out there in case you hear about it between now and Sunday. But if you really want to go to the crux of it, this one clip will explain, outside of the financial incentives to basically trade ourselves into oblivion here during the cold snap. Harry Schlanger, who I remember from ResearchGate, we played a lot of stuff from him back in the days of the early, when it was still global warming before it came climate change, and the what's the university that had doctored, let's say had sent emails, East Anglia, about changing values, which of course has been debunked. You're crazy, Curry. But he kind of laid it down. And,
what?
Well, if you say to anyone, East Anglia, that they were fudging with the numbers, someone will stand up in your face and say, that's been debunked.
That's bull crap.
I know. I'm just saying it. That's what people say. That's how it goes. I'm protecting us. Anyway, so Harry's going to tell us who exactly is responsible. It's a doozy.
The idea that you privatize markets, you use the mantra of competition. With competition in markets, we can bring down the prices. But what did they really do with deregulation? They created an operation in which monopoly-type swindlers can come in, drive everyone out of business, and the only ones who can stay in competition are the ones who don't do anything to upgrade or maintain their plant and equipment, their distribution centers. And so there was no winterization, regardless of what caused the weather. And by the way, we've had cold weather in Texas before. I lived there for 30 years, and we had some freezes there. All this unprecedented weather stuff is made up by these global warming kooks. But we did have cold weather before. But we had more nuclear power, more coal, more oil and gas, and no damn windmills in the 80s and 90s. Now, who brought in the windmills in Texas? It was Rick Perry, under the influence of T. Boone Pickens and the belief that we were going to soon run out of oil, so we needed another energy source. This goes into the whole derivatives question. And so you had a bunch of rich Texas oil men who gambled the ranch on windmills. At the same time, deregulating the system completely so that in order to stay in business, companies had to cut their costs in any way possible, which means they never winterized. So you have the worst of all possible worlds, a deregulation run by monopolists and a Green New Deal run by psychotic lunatics. The states that didn't have a problem with the cold front were the ones that didn't go so big with windmills, that still had nuclear plants, that still had coal-fired plants online. Crush the Green New Deal and don't let this Great Reset take place, because the Great Reset will deregulate everything, which means that the cartels will control everything. And I think that's the lesson that comes out of Texas.
It's interesting that he added the Great Reset to his analysis. There may be something to that.
I know it sounds like a rant.
All right.
I think 70% of the power in this country is still from coal, and people don't want to talk about it. Coal and gas fire.
Of course. But if you have an exchange where it's down to the margins and people are doing derivative trading in energy, there's little incentive, which was my analysis from day one, to actually make sure you're ready for stuff, because they were too busy making money to think about anything else. So it's a number of different things.
Well, we've already gone through this in California. It came and went. And it's the Enron people.
It can still happen again in California. You have an RTO. It could still happen. Anyway, something really...
We've seen it before. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
We only get fooled 2 or 3 times.
Fool me once, twice, or maybe 3 times. But then we'll really figure it out. The clubhouse coup needs to be discussed. There was a clip, and whenever there's a clip, I'm always looking for what happened, what really took place. And this is Brett Weinstein. Is it Weinstein or Weinstein? Does he prefer Weinstein? I'm not sure. Do you know?
I think it's Weinstein.
Weinstein. Brett Weinstein.
Yes, I had this. It's funny that I'm glad you got this clip. It's like I heard this clip when I heard it the first time. I am thinking, this is a guy this is what happened with his brother. His brother, I can't remember, the other guy is the biologist.
No, this is the biologist. Brett is the biologist.
No, this is the guy.
Okay, this is Brett Weinstein. I'm telling you, Eric Weinstein is his brother who works for Peter Thiel. This is Brett.
I thought this was Eric on this clip because it sounds more like Eric than Brett.
Will you take it from me that it's Brett?
Sure.
Okay. It's Brett and, Brett from his NPR wife who talks like this. What's her name?
Then it makes my story even better if you can play the clip.
We're not even gonna do that. He knows exactly what we asked him. Brett, are you anti-racist? Are you transphobic? Are you anti-black? Like, give us the answers right now and quickly, or you're gonna get off the stage.
Sure, 100%. But let me correct something Marcy said first.
100% what? Are you 100% anti-black, or are you 100% anti-racist? What's going on?
Okay, I am 100%.
I don't like the way that he had made Marcy explain what was happening, or he tried.
No, I just wanted to know. Look, come on.
Can y'all please stop trying to let this man wiggle out of the answer? The questions go, Brett.
Okay, first of all, I'm not a classical liberal. I'm an actual liberal, okay? Far left, have been my whole life. I am thoroughly anti-racist by any normal definition, but I don't like Kendi's definition of anti-racist. That doesn't make sense to me. I'm not by any stretch of the imagination a white supremacist. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure whether I qualify as white. I'm Jewish. It's a different thing. My people have been persecuted by Europeans.
You are, Brett. You're just spicy white, but continue.
Okay, fine. I'll take that. I don't think it's a simple issue.
All right, so tell me your impressions, and I will tell you what I think is going on here.
Well, first of all, I've never seen anyone handle a situation like this so poorly.
Mm-hmm.
And we've actually on this show discussed strategies for this sort of attack. In other words, throwing it back at the attacker and probably throwing their privilege back at him. But Brett was the same guy that was Evergreen. He was one of the top biologists in the world regarding certain theoretical constructs.
Evolutionary biology.
Yeah, evolutionary biologist. And he was cowed out of his job because what happened at Evergreen was they were going to have some all black day where all the whites are supposed to leave the campus and the blacks get to stay there, and the other people of color. And he didn't want to do it. He says, why should I? What's the deal here? This seems like a racist thing. And so a bunch of students came in and he started yelling and screaming at him, and they drove him out of the campus, and they got pissed off that he wouldn't play their game. And he quit the college, and so did his wife, who also worked there. But there was lots of tapes, so we played them when it happened, and it was the same thing. He acts like a weasel in these situations, and he says, "Well, I'm a classical liberal." I mean, the whole I felt it was cringeworthy to listen to this poor guy not stand up for it. He has apparently no backbone. I said the word, no backbone, and it was hard to listen to.
So I dove into this. Now, I have a little bit of an advantage. I have done 59 shows with Mo Facts. So it's a lot of hours. We talk. I'm a little, I have some bias perhaps, but I've learned a lot of different things. First of all, the comment for him to say, "I'm not white, I'm Jewish." Okay. If I may. This woman, Marcy, is a professional. She knew what she was doing. She may be one of these trained Marxists. She did not call him a racist. She did not call him a white supremacist, a white nationalist. She said, "Are you a white supremacist?" At no point did she call him a racist or a bigot or anything like that. And that is specifically because if you really, and I won't get too deep in this, but the true meaning of white supremacy is what many people still live under. It comes originally from the European families who were supreme. They go to any country, the Netherlands, the UK, Canada. There's kings and queens, Norway, Denmark, Sweden. Everyone's got a king. That is the original supremacy. They were called white supremacy because that was their color. That was their brand. In fact, you've heard of Venetian Cruz, which was a makeup that even Queen Elizabeth I used to make themselves look white, because a lot of these people in the families, in the rich original families, were not so white. They came from Southern Europe. They had olive skin. So that became kind of their brand. And that's where the term white supremacy comes from. We still, I would say, live under a version of supremacy. Just look at the assholes who run the show. Now, when she says, "Are you a white supremacist?" she has a reason for this. And this is something that most people don't know. Months ago, Mo pointed out Clubhouse to me. Months ago. And now I never downloaded the app. I had no interest. But the reason he told me about Clubhouse, he said, "Bro, people are leaving YouTube. They're paying content creators over at Clubhouse." He says it's the blackest app in the App Store, along with Cash App. The blackest app in the App Store for months. And they were paying black creators to leave YouTube and go make stuff over at Clubhouse. And then the old switcheroo took place. Once they had traction, and just imagine, now I'm putting myself in black skin for a moment. Imagine it was black Bitcoin. It was black entrepreneurs. Of course, tons of woke BLM stuff as well. But it was a black, 95% black. And then when they had some critical mass going, the owners flip around and go, "Oh, cool. Now let's bring in some celebrities." Who do they bring in? The whitest of all white people you can imagine. Rich white guys, Elon Musk, Joe Rogan. And then you get a whole bunch of other white guys coming in with attitude and basically taking over their app. No, I'm sure Brett Weinstein had no idea what was going on over there. And if you hear the preamble to this berating that he got, which is about a minute, you can hear this group, including Marcy, talking about, what the hell is going on here, and you'll get a little bit of understanding of how they feel that their digital space was hijacked.
Also, I'm taking some time to notice too who's in here. Thank you to whoever DM'd me, right? But Brett Weinstein, yeah, I'm calling you out. Somebody that they really promote on this app, right? I'm always seeing him, like, not even in the town halls on the stage, but in the audience. And he's always like having such a huge influence on this app, right? And his nigga's mad racist. Like,
adding Mark,
are
Brett,
anti.
look at you, Brett. adding Mark.
Wait, who is it?
Mark.
Who is it?
Brett Weinstein under Felicity, under Exotic. So Exotic and then Felicity and then right there
Bring them up. Actually, bring them up.
32,000 followers, but you're not going to go back and talk about this. You're not going to talk about how we had to, you know what I'm saying? None of that. What's up?
Brooklyn, to put this in a little bit more of a perspective, I think Brett, Eric, and I'll let him speak for himself, but they are kind of a part of all the classical liberal groups, or I don't know what to call it, but they're kind of a part of that, the intellectual, I guess, dark web.
So this is how I read the situation. We've got a complete hijack of the community. Everybody was fine. It was doing great. And then slowly the black people on the app saw it being moved towards white, promoted. Yeah, they're promoting this guy. They're promoting this guy. It's all white guys. And then what we didn't hear is the 3-hour conversation that led up to this. Now a little bit from Brett and his wife's podcast, where he explains what has happened. And with this context of we just got hijacked by a bunch of old, rich white guys, is very apparent in how he describes what happened.
What happened yesterday is that Michael Tracy, the journalist, started a room
when the title was approximately, is Clubhouse too obsessed with wokeism or something like that?
Now, just imagine you've had this place, and now there's these white guys saying, is Clubhouse, our Clubhouse, too obsessed with wokeism, whatever?
In any case, I went into this room quite late, I think. The discussion was well underway. Michael Tracy was, I believe, having difficulty moderating the room. A person came onto the stage to speak and challenged the fact that there were, by her accounting, no people of color with moderator privileges. Michael Tracy made her a moderator. I did not see that interaction, but that's what I've been told. And then a coup took place, and everybody in the room acknowledged by the end of this discussion that it was a coup.
This from a university professor to call something that happened on Clubhouse a coup, and it was a coup, and everybody agreed? Come on, Weinstein.
So the person who had been given moderator privileges first kicked Michael Tracy off the stage, then kicked all white people off the stage, and the conversation radically shifted. And so it was a takeover. Now, at one level, who cares about some takeover in some ephemeral room on Clubhouse?
Yes. Stop. Exactly. My first question. Why are you wasting your time there other than vanity? Why are you even going to something ephemeral other than just to be in the scene? It's some kind of weird FOMO. It doesn't suit you.
On the other hand, the nature of Clubhouse is a discussion. And what took place in that room was stunning, not just to me, but to many people, including Peter Boghossian, who was in the audience, and Benjamin Boyce. Now, I would just point out that Peter Boghossian, Benjamin Boyce, and myself are three very well-versed people when it comes to discussions of wokeness, racial interactions, right? It would be hard to impress us, and yet all three of us were impressed with what took place in this room. It was shocking.
And I think a learning moment is in place here. I can only imagine what that whole discussion was about, as they are the experts on wokeness and racism and integrations. I can understand why these people got angry. So who the hell are you? Shut up and go away. No one has the context of what Clubhouse was and how it's basically been destroyed. And we can just listen to what actually happened, how he actually was addressed, instead of the one clip that you heard.
Was that you, Marcy, who was saying something about who I am?
Yeah, I was trying to give some context to these rooms, and I don't. I wasn't here earlier, and apparently some things were said that were insensitive. I was trying to catch up, but I was, trying to explain that you have a podcast and you're popular off this app for your POV on wokeism and stuff like that. That's all. I was trying to frame it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, also a VC, am I mistaken? Or are you also an investor on this app as well?
No.
Yeah.
I'm not an investor.
They promote you like you are.
I don't know that there's any promotion.
Do you see the issues? This is the issue.
I've been here a little while. I did get an invite fairly early on, but I don't think there's been any promotion here.
Okay, can we speak to the fact if you are anti-wokeness and the progression of black people? Do you believe in white supremacy? Do you believe in white privilege? Are those sentiments that you stand by? People here are saying that you have spewed racism across this app, so can you speak to that?
And transphobia. Yesterday he was defending the binary.
Wait, why was Dio down in the audience? What happened?
Yeah, what happened? I think they left.
Oh, they probably moved themselves. Go ahead.
Can I ask something of you before I answer your questions?
Did you answer those questions? Do you support white supremacy? Are you anti-racist?
And transphobia.
Okay. I'm happy to do all these things, but I would ask you to try to listen fully.
Listen, white man, we're in charge here, okay? We ask you some questions. You can answer them or you can go.
Don't ask.
So, Brett, here's the problem, Brett.
You see? That's what it is. This has nothing to do specifically with race, but by a hijack of a different class. And it's explained with white supremacy, because that's a class struggle, not a color struggle. And sadly, a lot of trolls think that this is about race, but it's not. It is about a digital battlefield for who owns it. And the people who built Clubhouse are just pissed off that they got jacked. That's the problem here. It's not about someone being a racist or not. And that's all I got.
Okay. I found the whole thing to be tedious.
Well, Clubhouse is, of course, completely unnecessary in anyone's life. And who needs this?
Well, I can't use it anyway, and neither can you since we don't use an Apple.
Yeah. There's probably reasons for that. There's probably reasons for that, too. But ultimately, I think Clubhouse did themselves no favor by building it up and then pulling the rug and changing it and promoting a bunch of intellectual white guys. I know how that looks. It's dumb.
Yeah, well. And for some reason, it reminds me of Gamergate. Well, let's get back to the news. I wanted to break down the Cuomo apology because he's crying in it. And I'm starting to notice some interesting trends in the way people in certain leaders are speaking. And so I took the apology that he did and put it into 3 pieces.
Ooh.
1, 2, and 3. And each one of them, at least the first 2, emphasize something that Joe Biden does. Let's go with apology part 1.
As you probably know, the Attorney General is doing an independent review, and I will fully cooperate with that review. Now, the lawyers say I shouldn't say anything when you have a pending review until that review is over. I understand that. I'm a lawyer, too. But I want New Yorkers to hear from me directly on this. First, I fully support a woman's right to come forward. And I think it should be encouraged in every way. I now understand that I acted in a way that made people feel uncomfortable. It was unintentional. And I truly apologize for it. I feel awful about it. And frankly, I am embarrassed by it. And that's not easy to say. But that's the truth. But this is what I want you to know. And I want you to know this from me directly. I never touched anyone inappropriately. I never touched anyone inappropriately.
Please don't look at the dead old people.
He's not going to well, that's definitely part of this. Now, his emphasis here is he supports the women's rights to come forward. Is that in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights? The right to come forward?
Well, I'm
just wondering.
Everyone has the freedom of speech, so that right is God-given. So yes, it's not anything special. Except he feels that maybe he grants that right. Maybe he feels godly.
And then he does this thing that he does and Biden does at the very end. Did you catch it?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
He repeats himself word for word.
Oh, right. A little slower than the original.
Well, you can play the end again. You can hear it.
But this is what I want you to know, and I want you to know this from me directly. I never touched anyone inappropriately. I never touched anyone inappropriately.
I think you have
not slower, not faster.
Yeah, you have to say it
almost identical.
You have to say it 3 times for it to stick, though.
Now, I've got a Biden clip. I'm making a collection of these to make a supercut. I only have one so far, but Biden does the same thing.
You've got to start.
I got to start, but you might as well play the Biden one. You can hear the example of him doing it.
Okay.
Get this, a dose of hope. A dose of hope.
Yeah.
A dose of hope. So, okay, so part 2 of Cuomo, he does the repeating thing again. I cut it off right after he finishes it. And then we're going to the last part. And this is only 13 seconds before he does another repetition.
I never knew at the time that I was making anyone feel uncomfortable. I never knew at the time I was making anyone feel uncomfortable.
I know where this is leading.
Where?
Oh, I know where this is leading. It's not about his intent. It's about how someone felt. Isn't that the rule?
Oh, no, it's always, that's a typical bullshit apology.
Yeah, that's the rule. Yeah.
Yeah, usually you do that. But so then he does something interesting. And he kind of twists it a little bit. He does a good job of hiding it, what you just described, which is the classic bullshit apology where you say, I'm sorry if it made you feel bad.
I know, I apologize. Not I'm sorry. I apologize.
Yeah, usually, he actually says I'm sorry as opposed to I apologize. If you felt that I did something wrong, I apologize. It throws it on the person.
Yep.
Why don't you just apologize, douchebag? But this is another interesting little twist he has in here. And I didn't catch it right away, but listen to this. This is the Cuomo Apology 3.
And I certainly never, ever meant to offend anyone or hurt anyone or cause anyone any pain. That is the last thing I would ever want to do. I ask the people of this state to wait for the facts from the Attorney General's report before forming an opinion. Get the facts, please, before forming an opinion. And the Attorney General is doing that review. I will fully cooperate with it, and then you will have the facts. And make a decision when you know the facts. I also want you to know that I have learned from what has been an incredibly difficult situation for me as well as other people. And I've learned an important lesson. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whatever pain I caused anyone. I never intended it. And I will be the better for this experience.
Intent doesn't matter.
Now, here's another little thing he does here. He builds up to, I've learned a lesson, and he's about to tell you what lesson did he learn? Do we know what lesson did he learn?
I think the one I described, but he doesn't say it.
What does he say? He says, I've learned a lesson, and then he goes right into, I'm sorry, repeating it, I'm sorry. Wait, hey, Adam?
Yeah?
I learned something today.
What did you learn?
I'm sorry. I mean, it doesn't really make any sense.
Let me hear it at the end again. Hold on.
For me as well as other people. And I've learned an important lesson.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for whatever pain I caused anyone. I never intended it. And I will be the better for this experience.
Well, I think he's saying that intent doesn't matter. It's how you feel. He's not saying
that's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. But what is the lesson specifically?
That's the lesson
that he learned.
The lesson he learned is that intent doesn't matter. That's the lesson. That is the only lesson. It doesn't matter what you said or did. If it made me feel bad, you're guilty. Oh, that's the whole social justice warrior mantra. I'm triggered.
This was and by the way, the beginning, you couldn't hear it, but if you saw it and watched it, he was kind of faking it, like crying in the first two clips.
Well, we heard it. We heard it at the beginning. We heard it. Now, let me ask you.
What a crock.
Here's what I'm saying. So the guy is an embarrassment because he not only did some things that was indirectly or maybe directly responsible for a lot of old people dying. And we know in the UK, I'm sure it's similar here, 79 years old, average age. So old people were dying. That could have also been to help out some voting bloc that he appreciates. We don't know. That's all speculation. That may or may not come out in the wash. But he was embraced by Hollywood. Hollywood embraced him. And with Hollywood, I mean cable news too. His brother, CNN, he was heralded. My uncle, long time CIA smart guy, now in his 90s. Oh, Cuomo is our shining star. We look forward to his press conference every day. He really is leading us. So then he got an Emmy. And then it started to get ugly because they figured out that, a lot of people died and he was pretty responsible. Certainly, he didn't do the right thing. So then they gave him the Hollywood takedown. Hollywood cannot have this on their record. So I'm sorry to say, but the Hollywood way is Me Too, is you drum up some accusations. Boom. This is a Hollywood takedown.
Well, you always have this theory, and I've subscribed to it mostly, which is that if you get the Emmy, this is a twisted version of it. If you get the Emmy, now you're like a star, so that you've been built up, because the Emmy is a big deal. You get an Emmy for for press conferences. Yep. Holy mackerel!
Yep.
And so the only time it's ever been done, you give him an Emmy for a press conference because he's so good. And so you build him up and you put him on all these shows and he jokes around with his brother on CNN and the whole thing. That's the big buildup. But then the first opportunity comes along, the same people will do the takedown, which should make it worse than it would have been normally. He's not getting away with anything. He murdered those people.
Not discussed. We'll see what the
Attorney General like the Me Too thing, but it will be discussed. There's indictments coming.
Sealed?
I can't imagine the lawsuits from the families. It's going to be out of control.
Is it sealed indictments? Do you think that's... You know what's back with this? What?
Another tale of the Hollywood Whackers.
Taking him down. Cuomo going down. The Hollywood Whackers. They're going to get him. They don't want his nasty stank on their Hollywood, man. On their 1.2 rating in the target demo.
1.2 rating. People who don't, people should understand that rating is it's a kind of rating that they would cut the show off halfway through it and put some reruns of
That's right.
Dobie Gillis.
They would not run a rerun on the West Coast. Done. There's they would not air.
Yeah, they should have been pulled from the West Coast feed. Period.
Yeah. Insane. This is a technical thing, technical report that I wanted to discuss with you, because it's the kind of thing that used to get discussed on This Week in Tech, and I'm sure that they'll be too busy talking about some new phone. This is a big Microsoft release. Technology and media entities join forces to create standards group aimed at building trust in online content. Did you see this?
I didn't see this, but they've been talking about trusted computing for since the late 80s, pretty much.
And what does that mean?
Or actually, they started talking about the mid 90s. I'm wrong, because it really came into play with the internet.
And what did that mean? What was the thought behind that?
The idea was that because people have been, I think this may have started coming around during the heyday of the computer virus. Is that you can't naturally trust communications with another machine. You don't know if you're really talking to somebody. It could be somebody else. There's all these issues with the code that went from here to there, and it had been hacked in between, and there was no way to knowing the difference if it was hacked or not. It had a lot to do with breaches mostly.
So it was more security, and I think HTTPS came out of that, certainly. As we were using credit cards, we needed some kind of measure that, that's the little lock icon. Oh, okay, I'm safe on this website. I've got a good, that's kind of what that was for. Well, this is the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, also known as the C2PA, a joint development foundation between Adobe, ARM, BBC, Intel, Microsoft, and Trupic, as they form a coalition to develop end-to-end open standard for tracing the origin and evolution of digital content. So I read from their release. A group of influential technology and media companies have partnered to form the Coalition for Content Provenance and Authenticity, C2PA, a joint development foundation project established to address the prevalence of disinformation, misinformation, and online content fraud through developing technical standards for certifying the source and history or provenance of media content. Founding members Adobe, ARM, BBC, Intel, Microsoft, and TruePic seek to establish a standard of provenance solution with the goal of combating misleading content. And they want to trace this all the way back to the CPU level, to watermark something that was created on your computer based upon the CPU that was in your computer at the time, which I guess gives you some kind of fingerprint like.
They probably have a serial number they can use. This is like, what is that little thing on a MAC address?
A MAC address.
Now, my take on this, if I was going to do analysis, is that this is a smokescreen for what they really want. Because and I'll tell you why I say this.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
because Adobe's involved, and Adobe is the number one. They're just beside themselves with piracy. And this is about piracy.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about content. I mean, yeah, it sounds great, but in fact, if you start looking at it, you want to have you can have a CPU attached to a pirated copy of something, and then you can track it back to somebody and go arrest them.
Yeah.
That'd be dynamite.
That's what the plan is.
Yeah. It's about these. Microsoft is a freak about it because their stuff is being pirated constantly. Adobe is really a freak about it because their stuff is being pirated. These other guys, I have no idea why ARM is involved unless people are stealing.
Processor.
But they're not really. They don't make processors. All they do is sell IP. And I think their IP could be. I think the Chinese are probably. I would guess. If you're designing a processor from scratch, you have to pay ARM a bunch of money to use their IP, which is it's a design for processors that are kind of like it's not open source. It's a very specific design for a processor that you can then modify. It's designed to be modified. That's what Apple does with the processor that's in the iPad and then now in the phone, I believe they use that too. And all the Chinese get a hold of this, the basic code. And since you're going to be modifying the crap out of it, it's almost impossible to get busted. But it'd probably be less so if you could start tracking the CPUs where it came from and who got it, so you can. That's the only thing. It's the only reason I think ARM would be involved.
I like it, and allow me to read from other pieces of the press release because it totally. So what you're saying is smokescreen bullcrap. Of course, it'll be great to track down someone who did something horrible on the internet and posted something horrible. That'll be great to track it back. But really, it's about making sure that you're not running pirated copies of their shit. That's really what it comes down to. So the formation of the C2PA brings together founding members of the Adobe-led Content Authenticity Initiative, there you are, and the Microsoft and BBC-led Project Origin, unifying technical specifications under a single entity. Here it comes. The CAI is building a system to provide provenance and history for digital media, giving creators a tool to claim authorship and empowering consumers to evaluate whether what they are seeing is trustworthy. Project Origin has its roots in the production and distribution of news. That's a BBC and Microsoft part. The effort is focused on tackling disinformation in the digital news ecosystem by attaching signals to a piece of content to demonstrate its integrity and making this information available to those using it. With the foundation of the C2PA, technical standards will be unified while these two entities continue to pursue adoption, prototyping, and education within their respective communities. And the involvement of TruePic is interesting, as TruePic's development on the first negative integration of hardware-secured photo capture smartphone technology, which I find interesting in the context of these NFTs, which are all of a sudden popping up, where you can prove that you own a digital image without these assholes involved in it. Adobe, Microsoft, BBC. Could be a counter move to that, too. They're seeing the money that's being made.
Could be an element.
Could be an element of that.
But this is bull crap. What is it going to do? For example, are you going to stop reading the Gateway Pundit? What about people that create the content themselves from scratch?
Well, first of all,
I mean, this doesn't make, if you think about it, what they're trying to do is to prove stuff is bogus. It's not like it doesn't get proven by the community at large that jump all over every piece of phony information that floats around. Yeah, something will come out quickly and become go around as a rumor real fast and kind of just make a mess, but it gets cleaned up by itself. It's already gets cleaned up. This is bull crap, this whole system. This is, again, I'll stay with it. It's a smoke screen.
I think you're right. Say it again.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
and Adobe is like the number one freak out over this because they have been ripped off left and right, and they just don't like it.
So the result will be more people moving away from these platforms because they're going to be tracking you, whether it's for their copyright or for, obviously.
It's getting to the point where it's getting close enough now that there are competitors to Photoshop.
GIMP.
Many of them quite...
The GIMP.
There are GIMP is actually not as bad as
you make it out to be.
As I make it out to be. But there are other products that are out there that are quite good, and they're for most Photoshop uses. Photoshop has also kind of featured itself into a corner with just too much crazy stuff that it does, and it's just like Adobe's. I liked when they started the idea of the subscription. They kind of made it work, and it worked very well, and it seemed like it was worth the price. But they keep adding features, and they bring. Here's another thing Adobe did, which is irksome. They brought out a bunch of products that were outside of the subscription. Little extra things that, and I can't name them right now, but there's a bunch of little sub programs, little additional programs that are outside of the subscription. So you got your subscription, which is supposed to cover everything, and then there's this and that is not in the subscription. So there's money out the door.
Well, all of these new products, including Apple's new, I think their operating system is phoning home. It's all phoning home. Windows has been doing that forever. And this is where Linux will start to win over, and not on the Intel or ARM chips. What's left?
I think Linux, as we use it at this point, with some of all the free apps that are available and some of the utilities, is very viable.
Yeah,
much more so than it was 10 years ago when people were doing things like Lindos.
I forgot about Lindos. Yeah. Now Microsoft is trying to capture that by adding the Windows Linux subsystem, and they are big investors in the Linux Foundation. They're trying to. They see what's going on. They're trying to weasel in on that. But even on smartphones, I almost do everything exclusively on my No Agenda phone now, which is running Graphene OS, noagendaphone.com. It is unbelievably stable, just very fast. I feel much more secure with what I'm doing. I can at least see what I'm doing. It's not obfuscated. There's lots of alternatives. It's just going too far. They're taking it to the next level. They really are.
They've gone from when this whole thing started, small, one disc, a book, little small book in a baggie with a hole in it, hanging off of a little thing sticking out from a shelf,
like a bag of drugs, a little Ziploc bag.
$40 you get this, or $29 you get that, or $19 you get something else. To this mess that they've created,
fabulous.
So now they're trying to protect the mess.
Yeah.
This is what happened when something's going to change. It has to change pretty soon. This is the way the mini computer people tried to protect themselves from the microcomputer people.
Oh, let's understand that, because history is the best predictor of the future.
Every time something new came along, this has always been the way it's been going with high tech. That's why it's been in a perpetual depression, technically, because prices keep going down and power keeps going up. And so you have your mainframe, and then the mini computer people came along, the DEC, Digital Equipment Corporation.
Now the mini computer was technically what? I mean, mainframe, you had a dumb terminal. Is the mini computer something like an office division would share, or how was that rolled out? It
was a different architecture, and the computing mechanism, the core CPU areas were pretty much as powerful as the bigger machines, but they couldn't do certain things. They didn't have channeling and some of these other mechanisms that made the big machines work better in certain situations. But you'd go into, like when I worked at the air pollution district, when I first got involved in this idea, was they had an HP 3000 system, which was a mini computer, and there were these terminals, distributed terminals, and they were all kind of in it part and parcel of the main thing, and they had some intelligence, not like later. And the main part of it was they were a lot cheaper, and you didn't have the huge IT department to deal with. You had a couple of guys. So it all becomes the old back of the napkin sales pitch where somebody is in the businesses. Look, if you buy our chips, it replaces these 5 chips. You'll save $5 per unit. And in 1 year, you'll pay for the changeover and blah, blah, blah.
We know the pitch.
That is the sales pitch of high technology.
Also used for ventilator sales during COVID.
And so they had the mini computers pushed out, marginalized the mainframe somewhat, except in giant corporations. And then they had the technology and the right idea to go even further down the road and do microcomputers, use the new microchips. But they wouldn't do it because they knew the numbers, and they said this will be ruined if we do this. And so they never did. So they put it off, and so they kept putting it off. And then the microcomputers came in from other sides, and they did ruin them. There's no DEC. Nobody runs a DEC 10 or any of these mini computers anymore. They got wiped out, and in fact, the mainframes almost got wiped out. But they managed to do a comeback with client server, and
was a Wang
cloud?
Was a Wang a mini computer?
Yeah.
Okay, the Wang system. All right, so then I know because we had the Wang at MTV when I arrived there in 1986.
And the Wang had a dedicated word processor. You can also buy a Wang, just a dedicated word processor from Wang.
Yeah, they did the prompter.
That was their main sales.
It was the prompter scripts.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they were very expensive, and they were the same way. They could look at, as soon as these little machines started coming out, which had word processing on them, and once, WordStar and things like that came along.
WordStar.
Made no sense to buy a Wang.
Can I have just a moment? I've told it before. I'll tell you my Wang MTV story. Not everyone's heard this. When I came to MTV, late 86, 87, the way they did teleprompter in the studio was as follows. Up at 1775 Broadway, a producer would write your scripts, and these scripts would then be printed on a Wang. These scripts would then be printed at the office, and it was a stack maybe 2 inches high because it's teleprompter printout. And it would be sent with a car service to my house, to my apartment at the time in Manhattan, and it would be this big. And meanwhile, I'm on the internet. I was already doing Gopher when they're sending me these scripts by a Communicard car service. Then you go down to the studio the next day, and there's 3 more sets of these scripts. And one set is for the teleprompter operator. And just so you know how it worked back in the day, the teleprompter operator, we had 2. John was this kind of a blob of a guy. And then we had Christine, who was a hot New Jersey crazy chick. And they would take each page, and as you're talking, they would put each page on a conveyor belt, like a little sushi conveyor belt, and they had a knob, and they could turn that conveyor belt forward or backward at different speeds, and it would roll underneath the camera, and that camera was focused on the paper, and that would be shown on the television screen in the teleprompter. That was MTV, the hot new thing on the block, 1987.
Sounds about right.
No wonder they hated me. Coming in and telling their Wang's no good. Actually, I think they faxed some of the scripts.
Nobody wants to hear that their Wang's no good.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab.
Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
You are
a few people.
You are indeed the best in the business. No one can do a one-liner like that, Dvorak. Thank you.
We do have a few people to thank for show 1326, starting with, and by the way, I want to remind people that this is the segment where we just give you credit, money, and we don't run jingles and do the other things, but we will give you a de-douching as needed. We try anyway. Adam will keep track of that as I go on and say Sir O-M-A.
Oma. You can just say Oma.
Oma? Is it O-M?
Oh, yeah, Oma.
Okay. Yeah. He needs some health karma. We'll give that to you at the end. 132.60. Sir Crush-A-Lot, the Black Knight of the Leelanau grape fields in Michigan. And they do grow grapes there, surprisingly. Chardonnay, or whatever. Chardonnay is there. 111.29. I wouldn't mind getting a couple bottles from these people that grow the grapes in Michigan. I've always been surprised by Midwestern wines. Sir Josh Dillsaver, 111.11 in Springfield, Missouri. Sir Robert of Sous Vide in Holland, Pennsylvania, 100. Baron Latican, Houston, Texas, 100. Jared Wolf in Milburn, New Jersey, 100. He's got, it's next month's his birthday. Oh, well. You remind us in advance. John Robinet, 100. Douglas Ingstrom, 100 from Sandy Lane, Pennsylvania. A lot of hundreds here. I like it. Catherine Sutton in Fairfield, Connecticut came with 100. She has a birthday, and she had a note about something that I needed to put in to mention, but now I don't see
for
it.
JD, you mean? For JD?
Was it? Well, that was the birthday donation for JD.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Sorry, Catherine. She's the woman with the I believe she's the one that has the place in Thailand.
Oh,
pretty sure. Brian Kaufman in Scottsdale, Arizona, 7575. Sam Van Hoor in Amsterdam, 6789. Stephanie Valencia in Anderson, California, 60. I wonder if that's where Anderson split pea soup comes from.
And then I'm sorry, requesting a de-douching because Stephanie Valencia is not just Stephanie. We're a trio who enjoys listening to your show and discusses it in great length when we see each other at the gym. Mask-free, baby, de-douching.
You've been de-douched.
All right, trio.
Ed Warner in Columbia Falls, Montana, 5678. Brian Burley in Littleton, Colorado, 5510. Sir Vince, Knight of the PN Pacific Northwest in Washington, 5510. Frank Thomas Hockey in London, UK, 54. Rick Gibbs of Woodbury, Minnesota, 5321. Birthday there. Eric Hoff in Edmonton, Alberta, 5150. Susan Claycamp in Dacula, Georgia, 5021. Corey Bennett in Hercules, California, 5005. You did hear that he wants a wheeze, which we gave early in the segments. And now we have the $50 donors, name and location. David Beach in San Antonio, Texas. James Sharametta in Napanock, I think, New York. Dan Scalise in Vernon, Connecticut. We have a lot of 50s today. We had almost none last show. Joseph Barnes in Oakland, California, our new Oaklander. He says, been listening for years.
Ooh.
Huh. Well, we haven't heard from you. Sir Matthew Januszewski in Chicago. Timothy Moore in Arlington, Texas. Rodney Lillibridge in Lewiston, Idaho. Loretta Vandenberg in Provençal, Louisiana. Tony Lang in Castle Pines, Colorado. Andrew Oxenham in Knoxville, Tennessee. Joseph Bell in Panama City Beach. And he's gone to birthday. He's turning another 33. Jennifer Lee in Winston-Salem. Another birthday. Sir Brett Farrell he's in Oklahoma. Aichi Kitagawa in San Francisco. And last but not least, Sir Brian Watson in Raleigh, North Carolina. Big list of $50 donors. Appreciate every one of them, and all the rest of the people that helped support us in show 1326.
Especially those who came in under 50. This is where you can help us on a sustaining basis. It's really easy. It's $5, $11.11. There's some 33s, many different options. Well, no matter what you do, if you get value from the show, if you're listening to us, you've listened more than a minute, you got something out of it. Otherwise, you are truly wasting your valuable time. So put that into numbers, give it back to us, make it meaningful to you. And a lot of these notes do show that, and we appreciate it. Thank you all for your courage. We look forward to doing that another time for you, which will be, Sunday. Go to Dvorak.org/NA. That'll tell you how to do it. We did have a couple of F cancer and job requests in there, so I'm going to do it for everybody.
Jobs. And jobs. You've got karma.
And a nice list to go with the long donations of the $50. Dreb Scott says happy birthday to Theodore Geisel, who celebrated on March 2nd. Jenna D'Amico, her birthday was on March 3rd. Todd Webster turned 42 on the 3rd. That's all yesterday. Dreb Scott celebrates today himself. Congratulations, Dreb. Thanks for all your courage. Joseph Bell, 33 today. Stephen Fuchs says happy birthday to his handsome boyfriend, Kurt. Who needs Grindr when you got no agenda? 30 today. Vinny says happy birthday to his smoking hot, cunning, and stunning wife, Sinead, celebrating today. Drew Sample, a.k.a. Sir Bubba Hotep, turns 36 today. Rick Gibbs says happy birthday to his brother, Jeff, who turns 53. DC Girl and all the friends on No Agenda Social say happy birthday to Professor Wurr, who will be celebrating tomorrow, as will my baby sister, Willow Curry. I'm not going to tell you how old she's going to be. Catherine Sutton, happy birthday to JD, 40 on the 6th. And Jennifer Lee says happy birthday to Justin Newsom. We say happy birthday from everybody here at the best podcast in the universe. It's your birthday, yeah. Bum, 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 bum. 1, 2, 1 night, one dame. I got a blade.
Here you go.
Ooh, that one, huh? The ceremonial blade. I like it. Up on the podium, Jenna D'Amico and Todd Webster. Hello, both of you. And thank you very much for your support of the No Agenda Show in the amount of $1,000 or more. That means you get a spot here at the round table of the No Agenda Knights and Dames. And I am proud to pronounce-ticate the Dame J, protector of the pandas, and Sir Farmer Todd of the Upper Teodotin. For you, we've got Hookers and Blow, Rent Boys, and Chardonnay. We've got some Pennsylvania rye with a heaping serving of mutton as is necessary, along with ginger ale and gerbils, bong hits and bourbon, geishas and sake, ginger ale, breast milk and pablum. There you go, and there's your mutton and meat. It's already there, a big helping for you. So take that, the mutton and meat, enjoy that, and then later on you can go to noagendanation.com/rings. Eric the Shill will gladly help you get your ring and your sealing wax and your official certificate of authenticity, as you now are at the No Agenda Roundtable of Le Knights and Le Dames.
No Agenda Meetups.
Yeah, big parties taking place. So many No Agenda Meetups, noagendameetups.com. We have a couple of reports. We love it when they're short and sweet. Some are, some not so. The State of Jefferson meetup reports in.
This is the State of Jefferson meetup, and this is Sarah Mount Shasta, Laura Lemurians. Just passing it on to everyone else at the table here. Thanks, everyone, for joining us here in Redding, California at Woody's for beer and food. It's great.
Soon to be Dame Danny.
Night of the Five Seasons.
A broke bachelor.
Rebecca, not a dude named Ben.
Mother of many of these.
Never heard the podcast, but I'm going to have to get onto it. This is Racist Bitch, also known as Karen.
ITM, Mr. Max Powers.
In the morning, John and Adam.
Good morning!
And there was a big meetup in Austin, the local 512. I didn't make it to this one because the keeper and I had a lot of stuff to do. She also had the day off, and it's nice when we both get the day off. So apparently I was missed. It's the longest report, but there were a lot of people there.
This is Baron Scott of No Agenda Local 512, fixing it in post. Here are a few words from the attendees of the most recent No Agenda Local 512 post-Valentine's Day meetup.
This is my second meetup. It's a nice day today.
In the morning from Rachel and
OC, what? That's you.
Hey, Adam, where you at? You're not supporting your own community.
And those truffles were amazing.
So dang.
All right, this is my first time. It's pretty excellent. Bonbons and beer. What more could you ask for?
Sir Ducifer here. John, enjoy your Pops Blue Ribbon.
Hey, in the morning, guys. This is Colin from Buda. Thank Scott for setting us up out here on a beautiful Saturday. Thanks.
This is Phil from Dallas. Curls for the girls, wait for the babe in the morning.
Hey, guys, in the morning. Stay safe, Adam.
Love you, Adam.
This is my second meetup. It's a nice day today.
Happy post-Valentine's Day love from the Goggins.
The truffles were amazing.
In the morning, mustaches and margaritas.
This is Brendan from Local 512. I'm still a douchebag. Sorry, Adam.
Hey, this is Josh Magnuson from Austin. In the morning. This is Sir L. Hawkins reminding you that it is a party.
Hey, this is Sir Steve, and this is my third meetup here, and I think I'll be coming regularly because I only live a mile away. It's a really good time.
Hey, this is Mia, the No Agenda waitress. I love No Agenda. They're so crazy and they're so great.
She is the waitress at Doc's backyard. We've co-opted her, and she's now wearing T-shirts. It's a good report. A lot of people there. Really incredible. Here's what's coming up on our list. You can find it all at noagendameetups.com. Today, we have the Montgomery, Texas fans of globalism and subjugation. If you're a fan, go to the B52 Brewery. Andrew will welcome you there. Tomorrow, Houston Hackers, brand new on the list, 6 o'clock at Ninfa's Mexican Cantina. On Saturday, flight of the 013 of the No Agenda protesting the gruesome 3:33 p.m. Brewery X in Anaheim. Also on Saturday, Big Island protest against not having fun. That'll be in Hawaii, noon Hawaii time. Punalu's Black Sand Beach. On Sunday, the Northern Arizona, it's in Sedona meetup, 3:33 Arizona time, which will be at the Old Sedona Bar and Grill. Also on Sunday, Union Local 76, March for the Mutants in Manayunk. That's in Philly, 6 o'clock, the Union Tap House. On the way, let's see, we have March 11th, Denver. We've got the 12th, Tacoma, Washington. San Diego on the 13th, along with Chicagoland. Maricopa, Arizona. On the 14th, Durham, North Carolina. 17th, Nashville, Tennessee. The 19th, Jackson-Madison, Mississippi. The 20th, Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Pittsburgh, PA. The 26th, Kawartha Cottage Country, Peterborough, Ontario, Canada. The 27th, San Francisco. Also on the 27th, Florence, Montana. And then go looking ahead into April. We've got Michigan Local 1 coming up at the Roller Derby, by the way. It's nice. And also in Chicago, the Stranger Than Fiction meetup on the 24th. That's just what's coming up, a little bit of what's on the radar to really get a good understanding. There's a calendar for this. It's put together. Sir Neil has done that over there at noagendameetups.com. You can find one there. If you can't find something, here's an idea. Why don't you start one yourself? It's easy. noagendameetups.com.
Sometimes you wanna go hang out with all the nights and days. You wanna be where you won't be triggered or held to blame. You wanna be where everybody feels the same. It's like a party.
Just like one.
I have a report from the meetups back office that needs to be, I should have done it probably before.
Oh, so sorry. All right. What's up?
The Mimi's noticing there's a lot of people doing special events that really aren't meetups, but they're like something else, skiing lessons or whatever it might be. And they keep, wondering if we can help them get, if they can put it on there. They want to use it for posting all kinds of crazy things that got the site. Use the site to post just nutty. So she won't put any of it up unless it's just straight up meetup.
Mm-hmm. So,
and
go ahead.
I suggested that we mention the way it works in Michigan. Michigan is the first organized meetup system. And it works very well because they have their own mailing list that they developed.
Yeah, so does 512. NA Local has that too.
Local 1.
Yeah.
So you have all these people that, especially like 512 is a good example. They should be developing a mailing list of all the attendees so they can have their email addresses. So if they want to do a special event that's got really not a pure meetup, but they just want to get their people together and start collecting names, and then just send them an email. Say, we're going to go do this weekend. It's go-kart racing.
Or knitting.
And nobody's doing this except Local 1.
512 is doing this. Local 512.
Do they have mailing list?
Yeah, huge mailing list and telegram. You remember, Baron Scott was doing rescue missions, bringing people food and connecting people to water and electricity.
They got the right idea there.
They got
totally the right idea. So these other groups are all over the place, and they've not made a mailing list. They never thought about it, and I'm just telling them they should all be doing it.
Very good idea. That's a better way, for sure. I think this has to be discussed before we leave.
This is Read Across America Day, but there was something missing from President Biden's proclamation.
I do not like them, Sam, I am. I do not like green eggs and ham.
Mention of Dr. Seuss, for whom the day was originally named in 1998. Just 2% of the characters in the books are non-white.
This was really an interesting thing that took place here.
Yes, and I actually have a Substack column on this coming out next Tuesday.
Ooh, good. Now, do you have any clips or anything of this?
No, I have no clips, but I do. I mean, I've watched the whole thing take place. It's ludicrous.
I have a 43-second clip. This will give us a little idea here.
This morning, 6 Dr. Seuss children's books will no longer be published because of what are being called racist and insensitive images. The publishing company saying the decision comes after months of discussion, saying these books portray people in ways that are hurtful and wrong.
It will lead to an acknowledgement that, yes, there are children's books that are both racist and sexist.
Depictions in the books show Asians with lines for eyes and Africans wearing grass skirts. One of the books, If I Ran the Zoo, includes a drawing of a white man with a gun standing on a cage that's propped up on the heads of what appear to be 3 Asian men. It also includes dark silhouettes and what looks like a stereotypical depiction of a Middle Eastern man on a camel.
Now, I don't know if everyone... Dr. Seuss is pretty American. I don't know how well known it is. And of course, some
mainly because of his rhymes. They're very English,
very hard to translate into different languages. I grew up with Dr. Seuss. Honestly, I never really liked it that much. I'm like, okay, whatever. Red fish, blue fish, one fish, two fish.
It's for kids. It's something that your parents read to kids and show them the pictures. And it's mostly animals and crazy drawings. It's very funny. The If I Ran the Zoo being banned is personally bothersome because I used that book in a column in 1987, 88, where I went through the etymology of the word nerd.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Which I've discussed on the show before. And they kept, all the dictionaries had it as ne'er-do-well, kind of compressed into the word nerd, but that's, for one thing, ne'er-do-well doesn't mean nerd, and it's stupid. But that's what all the definitions had. And so I did some research, and I discovered that the use of the word nerd never appeared in any lexicon, couldn't be found before 1950. And what came out in 1950 was If I Ran the Zoo, and what character was in that book was a nerd, N-E-R-D, and the little character looked just like one of the computer science professors at MIT. You can take a look at the drawing and figure it out. But it was the character. That's how nerd, I believe, got into the lexicon, and there's no proof that it came in any other way. I wrote up this column, and didn't win any awards, but it got all the dictionaries to change the definition. And they did. Almost all of them have changed to recognizing this. So just to belabor the story, so I was quite pleased when Universal Studios in Orlando opened up a section called If I Ran the Zoo with the characters in there. And as kind of sculptures. It was a very nice it was kind of a mini park. And guess what character wasn't in there?
The nerd.
Exactly. Which was very disappointing.
While a good story, I think this needs some attention as to what's happening here. Every year in the United States, we have kind of one of those bull crap things like, I don't know, you have different months for stuff. You had Read America Day. And on Read America Day, then we tell all children it's good to read, and we all read Dr. Seuss. And both Michelle Obama and President Obama both read from Dr. Seuss books multiple times throughout the years. Only this year, it had to be deplatformed. It had to be removed because of whatever. And the context here, there's a couple things. This is, to me, this is a cultural attack on America, a real one. I'm not a big fan of the Dr. Seuss books, and maybe it's great to get, whatever it is, it's about reading, and it's been used that way for decades.
Yeah.
This was some kind of setup. This was not a surprise. Dr. Seuss, you know how much money the Dr. Seuss Foundation made last year?
Huge.
30 million.
Yeah.
It's a huge enterprise. A lot of people making money off of this.
The publishers mainly.
Of course. And the merch, and there's all kinds of stuff like that. So this instance is one where I say, hold on a second. This is really not okay. They didn't replace it with anything for our Read America Day. They just turned it into an incredible shit show of which the children are not the benefit. And what is the deal with only a few books? That's not how canceling works. You need to cancel all the books, all the movies, all the merchandise, any actor who played in any movie. Why is that not happening? Because this is bullshit. This is a breaking of American culture on purpose by the Biden administration. And I'm not going to forgive him for this. You can do a lot of things. This was a purposeful thing. And who's the publisher of this, Drek?
I think Harcourt Brace.
Is that who the publisher is?
This was also promoted for a number of years. This didn't just begin.
No, it's
by this group in Oakland called the Woke Kid or something like that.
Surprise.
And they based it on a couple of characters in a couple of books, but it really goes back to the drawings that Seuss made in the 20s and 30s, especially the stuff in the 30s where the Japanese were depicted as horrible people.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have that history.
But if you looked at the newspapers back especially after Pearl Harbor, I mean, the whole country was using the term Jap.
Yeah.
And nobody was really sad about it. In fact, the New York Times ran a very interesting story about it's just a great story about the internment camps and how great they are. And people are having a lot of fun at the internment camps. This is New York Times. They were all in on the internment camps. But New York Times is never going to get canceled for their past grievances.
But this wasn't
Germany and all
that's
the
my
rest.
point. This was not a cancellation. This was a direct attack on the children of America. And I called Mo. I said, Mo, did you grow up with Dr. Seuss? He said, yeah, absolutely.
Why wouldn't he?
Of course,
he's a universal character. Those books were popular. They were all over the place, and everyone had a set.
And no issue.
All the books that were banned are all $1,500. You get the complete set. They're now selling for $10,000 on the collector's market.
Yeah.
There's money to be made. I only have one last clip since we were on this kind of thing.
Well, before you do that, we need our ISO. What you got for ISOs? I have
smash that like button and feed the algorithm.
I got that.
That's no good.
Oh,
I have a bunch of ISOs. No good. I have a bunch of versions of Over done by Alex Jones.
Which one do you want?
Well, I want you to play them all. You tell me which. You're the picker. I got to start with Over Long.
It's over. It's all gone. It's all over.
Now, that's the end of the show. that to me is a good ISO because it's talking about the end of the show.
It's all over.
That's in the short one.
It's all over, man.
That's the one. That's the one. There's no question. Unless you got something else, that's it.
That's the variation. I have Put On Mask 1.
Hold on.
Or Put Mask On 1.
I see Mask 2. Hold on.
No, Put.
I understand. I hear you. I'm searching. Okay. They didn't say ISO, that's why.
When you go to the restroom, put your mask on.
I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right.
It's okay. You can yell at me. Here, this is
Dark Days.
Wait. I Put On Mask ISO too.
Put your mask on.
I kind of like that one too. I like. No, it's
one's 1 second, one's 2.
Yeah, this is the short one. This is half of it.
Put your mask on.
The other one is the full.
Okay.
Here, I'll play it for you again. This is Put Mask On 1.
When you go to the restroom, put your mask on.
That's why it sounds similar.
It's too long.
Mm-hmm.
Dark Days.
Dark Days.
Dark Days.
Yeah.
Dose.
Dose of hope.
Now, I think clearly.
It's all over, man.
That's the winner. It's just, you can't argue that. It's a winner.
It has that, which brings me to the Alex Jones rant clip.
Okay.
I think it might be good to finish this. He goes nuts.
This is
about
old.
It being
this is
all
this
over.
is
That's
old,
where
though.
I got all these.
But this is old. This is weeks ago.
Well, it might be weeks ago, but it's new to me, and we never played it on the show.
But there's reasons for that.
Okay. If you want to veto the clip, I won't play it. You can finish it up.
We're going to play it.
I mean, it's over. You understand? Your only shot you've got is realizing that we're screwed. Your candy-ass church isn't going to do it. Your candy-ass boss isn't going to do it. We're a trained group of monkeys in this country. We're not what Americans used to be. We're not rugged individualists. We don't stand up for the Bill of Rights and Constitution. We're a joke, okay? And so they got people like Brian Stelter up there saying shut down all of his competition on TV now. He thinks he owns you. Jeff Zucker thinks he owns you. These are bad people, okay? So I've done the best job I can. And I'm not bitching at the crew or you or anybody. I'm just saying it's hard for me to get up here and do a normal show when we have a group of corporate criminals literally gang raping us. I mean, if we ever beat this thing, it'll be in the history of like these people were Hitler. I mean, this is unbelievable. It's not like, oh, we're getting there. It's bad. Things are out of control. They've just begun. They're going to take your pension funds. They're going to bankrupt. They're going to cut the power off, the oil off. They're going to open the borders. It's over, man. It's over. It's all gone. It's all over. They're going to activate the Boogaloos, FBI, ADL, terror forces. They're going to start blowing everything up. Then they're going to come arrest all the patriots. The idiots will cheer it. Then they're going to shut your power off. They want you starving in the street. They want to rape your wife. They're Bolsheviks. They're Jacobins. It's all over, man. All over. Enjoy all your games. In fact, America is rotting and deserves it. Now, the Satanists aren't good. They're not God. God just lets them have their way now. So all your games are over. All the TV watching, all the laziness, all the slack jawing's over. It's over. You're going to be just like a baby at 6 months being chopped up in its mother's womb. You're not a human. You're not essential. You're dead. They're going to kill you because you don't care.
Ooh.
Such a positive message from AJ.
I'm sorry that I played that, but...
No, you're not. It was from October.
I love that guy when he goes on it, because that is something very few people can do. It's just a performance, of course.
No one like AJ to do that, that's for sure. Got to get him up and rolling on Podcasting 2.0.
He needs the Emmy. Where's the Emmy for him?
Right? For sure. Here's what's coming up next on NoAgendaStream.com. We've got Nick the Rat. Oh, that's from last night's show. You'll enjoy that. End of show mixes. Good ones today. Rolando Gonzalez, Jesse Coy Nelson, Tom Starkweather, and Larry Morton Jr. with a killer. And Coming to you from Opportunity Zone 33 here in the frontier of Austin, Texas. If you're looking for it on a map, you can find it on under FEMA region number 6 on governmental maps. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We return on Sunday right here. Remember us at Dvorak.org/NA. We can use all the help we get. Don't want to turn out to be like AJ there. That would be not so good. Until Sunday, everybody. Adios, mofos. And such.
She says she has a girl crush on her.
A lot of women have girl crush on Christina.
I think that she's the kind of woman that she's going to get a lot of attention.
There is a possible running mate, if not a future president.
She's a winner.
Now, most governors shut down their states. What followed was record unemployment, businesses closed, most schools were shuttered, and communities suffered. And the U.S. economy came to an immediate halt. Now, let me be clear. COVID didn't crush the economy. Government crushed the economy. For those of you who don't know, South Dakota is the only state in America that never ordered a single business or church to close. We never instituted a shelter-in-place order. We never mandated that people wear masks. We never even defined what an essential business is. Because I don't believe that governors have the authority to tell you that your business isn't essential. I don't know if you agree with me, but Dr. Fauci is wrong a lot. Truthfully, I never thought that the decisions that I was making were going to be unique. I thought that there would be more, but I guess I was wrong.
Mitt Romney suffers 2 black eyes and stitches after falling this weekend and being knocked unconscious.
As a senator juror, I swore an oath before God to exercise impartial justice. I am profoundly religious.
Romney loaded his dog into a pet carrier and strapped the carrier to the roof of the car for the entirety of the 12-hour trip.
And they're not happy that my dog likes fresh air.
He hit me.
I was doing exercises that I've been doing for many years with those large rubber bands. One of them broke and spun me around, and I crashed into these cabinets and injured my arm.
5 misdemeanor charges will be filed against the brother of Senator Harry Reid. Reid is accused of hitting the trooper, not wearing a seatbelt, resisting arrest, and driving under the influence.
It didn't knock me out, but it sure hurt.
He hit me.
John Kerry shows off his 2 black eyes after breaking his nose in a hockey match. Kerry's office said he sustained the injury when he was hit in the face with a hockey stick during a game with friends and family over the holidays.
John McCain's emergency surgery to fix a blood clot behind his eye will impact the Senate's schedule to vote on a new health care bill.
Well, first of all, I want to explain my black eye. I got up this morning at home in planes getting ready to go to church, and I fell down and hit my forehead, and my eye's black, as you noticed.
Pope Francis is sporting a black eye. He apparently bumped his head while riding in the Pope-mobile.
And is that semen on your black eye?
Oh, no, I tripped on a doorknob. That's doorknob
He chose to talk about anonymous sources in particular.
He says it is a hoax.
Some anonymous sourcing is just necessary.
It is one of those fundamentals of journalism that you have to be able to offer protection to your source if they want it. Otherwise, why would they speak?
The writer never revealed themselves, never came forward.
It to me is they're making stuff up again.
You'll see oftentimes that there are many anonymous sources used in these stories.
Again, you keep saying it's possible, isn't it? Everything is possible, but that's not journalism.
Things the government doesn't want you to know come out. Thank an anonymous source.
but we don't know who they are.
I wanted to let you know that John C. Dvorak has been haunting my dreams and reminding me to make a donation for quite a while now. The source of our success. The source of our success.
Because you haunt her dreams?
That's the source of our success. The source of our success. The source of our success.
Because you haunt her dreams?
That's the source of our success. Oh, I'm haunting dreams.
No,
it's not that easy.
I'm sorry. It's completely equal. You are so right.
Adios, mofo.
Dvorak.org/NA.
It's all over, man!